is going to get signed.
Welcome to the WARE School Committee meeting for Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Being an off week, we have no warrants and payroll. And we will move on to approval of the minutes for Wednesday, July 16th, 2025, regular business meeting.
Make the motion to approve the minutes from Wednesday, July 16th, 2025's regular business meeting.
Second.
All in favor, Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
Next, we will do the budget update. Andy?
So, good evening. You have in your packet, which would be the first of our updates as to how FY25 ended. You look and see some of the things that you see in here. The highlighted yellow are just some of the year-end reclasses that we do as a matter of routine every year, moving expenses to circuit breaker, the special education 240 grant. That's, we, as I always report during the year, we charge everything to the local first and then do those entries at year end. We're doing our reconciliation and closeout with the town, reviewing end of year purchase orders. All the salaries, summer salaries are reflected and encumbered here. So, not that we would ever be concerned, but we're not ending in a deficit. If you look at the balances that we're going to be carrying over into next fiscal year, it is slightly lower than we anticipated, and that is only because the circuit breaker amount that we received is higher than we anticipated. So by law, you're only allowed to carry over a certain amount. So we actually had to use more circuit breaker than we anticipated because we got more. Other than that, all those things aren't going to have any adverse impact on what we use for budgeting for FY26. You look and see there is a balance in the transportation account. What we are waiting on right now, Judy in the business office, is we haven't received any of the last quarter. I think McKinney-Vento, the homeless transportation, so that'll eat into that balance. But there will be a balance that will be returned back to the town for transportation. Next month we'll start with it'll be the official FY25 closeout, and you'll start to get FY26 updates, giving you a sneak preview. I can answer any questions that you might have.
Line 203. Athletics Contract Services.
Yes. So what, line 203. Right, so again, because we had a balance in the local, we've done this before where we had expenses that were charged to the athletic revolving account. We're able to move those expenses to the local budget and help the athletic revolving account so that we don't have to use that. And that can be used for upgrading equipment and materials, new uniforms for things that would be needed. So that's I'll say it's a good thing.
Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question about next year's budget. Is that appropriate or no?
Sure.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm fine with
Okay,
that, yeah.
so, as you know, we are seeking an interim superintendent that will require a salary that does not currently exist because the outgoing superintendent is being paid for a period of time. How does that work? That is my question.
Sure. So what we end up doing, and it sounds like a cliche, but one of my sayings is like, we actually spend the entire summer rebuilding this budget from scratch. We know the appropriation from town meeting. We are starting to get information regarding the federal grants that we use for our budget, the personnel changes that occur during the year, and yes, potentially if we need to realign things based on, unknown unanticipated expenditures, we end up doing that with the administration. So, whatever, say, the interim salary comes in at, we will end up, I'm going to say, plugging that in and then seeing where it is. When you look at what we are carrying over out of our revolving accounts, the target for the school committee, they, several years ago, there was a vote to have a contingency in the school choice of $250,000 to have for unanticipated expenses. We are above that now. That's a good thing. So for things like that if we're talking about potentially having to pay more for that, and quite honestly, other things that might end up happening if, through the year, if we need to make adjustments, if, something happened where we had to hire a new staff that wasn't originally budgeted for, there's a potential working with administration to say, do we need to go back and, ask the school committee for their authority to use more of the school choice, to hire that position. And in this case here, when we do our realignment of the budget, when all the dust settles on the ins and outs of the personnel, if there are more funds that are needed for that position, do we either take it from a current line item in the budget somewhere or end up using more of our revolving funds, which is kind of our contingency?
Okay, so short answer, the money exists.
Yes.
It's not like we're going to go into the red trying to pay
Oh,
the
no,
salary.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So, and that's, understanding the circumstances that we're talking about, that is the normal process that we end up doing, is like we end up, and again, like I say, I'm repeating myself, we rebuild this budget through the summer.
Okay.
We'll end up, I try and get it as close to real time as possible. We're at the middle to the end of August. We'll review with Katie in the central office, Judy in central office, as to the new hires that have come in, what were those salaries versus what it is that we budgeted for, and then just really look to see what it is that we back into the number that we know we have to get to. If we're below it, great, and if we're over it, then we just have to look and see as far as either use of other funding sources or reducing other line items in the budget elsewhere.
Okay, and then the governor's budget, I understand, shorted us a certain amount of, shorted the town a
Yes.
certain amount of money.
Yes.
I'm sure that will also go into your plugging in.
Well, see, the amount that was shorted it was the school choice sending tuition.
Which we're
So that
already
is
above.
on the town side budget, but it does indirectly, I'm going to say, potentially have an impact on the school side, because and Stuart and I were just talking about it, when he has to go through now and look and see where his real FY26 budget is as of right now, are there adjustments that potentially are going to result in reductions? And it might not even just be the school, it might be the school and other town departments across the board. So there is a potential for that to have a negative impact on our budget.
Okay.
But it is one of those things where, it's not like we're kicking the can down the road, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Because again, I'm saying, we have the funds available should indeed we need them. Because if you look, like I'm saying, we are, the contingency school committee's looking at was $250,000. We've got 700 in choice.
Okay. I'm just surprised to hear that, because I have sat in this room where people have said, well, we need a school psychologist, and they're like, there's no money. We need another adjustment counselor. Well, there's no money. So I'm just surprised to hear, and I believe you, I'm just surprised to hear what you're saying, because, as I said, I have sat in this room where it has been made very clear to me that there is no money for people.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to statements that have been made by, if I wasn't here, as far as,
Right.
It's a thing where I guess I'd say, there's no money currently allocated would be the way that I would have probably worded it.
There's
And
no
with
money
that-
in that line item.
Without parsing.
But it's over
right.
here.
And not sounding like we're selling snake oil or anything, it's
Okay.
it just becomes to that discussion of how far do you want to go into your reserves?
Okay.
And that's the thing, is like, so
So the correct answer is there could be money
it's just the
if
comfort
we
level
just
it is
move
that
it
you.
from where to there.
Correct.
Okay, that makes things very clear to
Right.
me. Thank you.
Anybody else? Guess
Okay.
we're good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy.
Yep.
Thanks, Andy.
Moving on to new business, interim assistant principal MOA. This is an MOA concerning Mr. Alanis, who's a grade 6 teacher, and he's covered by the WARE Teachers Association. WARE Public Schools would like to have him serve as the assistant principal of WARE Middle School for the 25-26 school year. Parties have agreed, in this instance only, for Mr. Alanis to serve as an assistant principal of the middle school with the option of returning to the 6th grade teaching position for the 2026-2027 school year, with no loss of seniority, other benefits secured prior to accepting the Ware Middle School assistant principal position. In mid-March of 2026, the parties will have a discussion to determine if Mr. Alanis will continue as the Ware Middle School assistant principal. This agreement does not constitute a past practice or precedent for any same or similar situation that may occur in the future. This memorandum of agreement represents the full and complete agreements and understandings on this matter. There'll be no other agreements on this matter between parties in either verbal or written form. So we're being asked today to approve the MOA, which would be a one-year thing for him only. He's not here, but that's fine. Any questions, concerns?
I assume he has all the appropriate licenses.
Yes.
Okay, then I'm good.
And they've worked out his contract, correct? So that's all set, ready to
Great.
go. And if we're good, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
I for myself. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
Review and the vote on the surplus equipment. I believe we only have the middle school and Mike Brown. Did you want to give us a highlight on it, on your stuff? And then we'll move on. You have to come to the microphone. Sorry.
So the highlight is, we had created a 3-year plan to replace the desks in the middle school. We currently have potentially 10 desks, 8 chairs that were available should more students come in. A number of our desks, if you bump them, the leg falls off, they're chipped, they're more dangerous. And they're original, it's my understanding they've been passed from the elementary school, from the high school, different places. So in talking to our previous superintendent, working with Andy and Judy, the savings that we had from not having 3 significant staff members from March on allowed us to consolidate and just order those desks and chairs now. So the other desks have been removed, and the chairs, and we're excited. New desks should be here on the 13th of August, what they're telling me. But it leaves us with a lot of desks, and we've gone through the locker rooms where things had been stored, really looked and gotten everything out. So those numbers, I will say, have an ish on the end. I counted everything, but I probably missed a chair or 2. So that's my update on that.
How do we normally dispose of excess
Don't we
property?
usually access the town first?
We have to offer it to the town
To the town first?
before we can dispose of it or sell it. And so we will do that. Since Stu is here, we will put him on notice that we are declaring this surplus and that we offer it to the town first. And then we move on to dispose of it if none of the departments want it. I'll double check with Stu, unless he wants to tell us tonight how long that takes. So we're not sitting on it for a year or 2, but
Where are they all being stored right now?
Technically not stored, we've got them in the gym, sorted
Oh.
by desks, chairs.
So we definitely have to have them out before
We will
school
have to do
starts.
something before the start of school, yes.
Okay.
do we have a motion to approve? We'll do The only things we have are the middle school, and we do have things for Mike. So we'll do two separate motions. And we have a motion to approve the Ware Middle School surplus.
Make a motion to approve the Ware Middle School surplus list.
Second.
All in favor, Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye. Mike?
Aye.
Aye.
Mel? Okay. Are you Mike's spokesman, or do you want me to go through it?
I don't have Mike's list,
Okay.
so I think you'll have to do that.
All right, I'll do it. Thank you. Mr. Brown has a list of things that are declaring surplus, and the items are for Dell. I'm gonna say
Carts.
carts.
Yep.
Oh, carts, I
Yep.
missed that piece, sorry. From 2017, they do not support the new style devices. We have 28 Chromebooks.
Oh, here he is.
He is here. Do you have the list, do you need it?
I need the list. You walked in right as.
Okay.
So, short version is, we have some old carts that supported older PCs that are very big and hard to move around, that no longer work with the Chromebooks. We have a bunch of computers that don't support Windows 11 or don't support it well. That's the same with all the laptops that are listed. 2 years ago, we replaced our Wi-Fi system with Aruba, so we have all the old AeroHive access points that are kind of old. They don't support the newer versions of Wi-Fi. We're redoing the phone system right now, so we have all of the old 2-button phones that came out of the classroom. A lot of them are broken from COVID, from the cleaners that they use on the phones. We have several old projectors that don't support HDMI or any of the new video protocols, and we have a couple of old servers that we have replaced. That's the short version. Any questions?
It's a lot of stuff.
It's been a while since we've gone through, and
Yeah.
Probably been several years.
yeah.
Well, some of these items are 20-plus years old.
We do have a replacement plan for most stuff, so we try to keep some of the older stuff around for spare parts and for spares, and so.
So I'll make a motion to approve the IT department's surplus list.
Second.
All in favor, Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
I, myself, Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
We're good?
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks. Vote and discussion on questions for the interim superintendent interviews. We have to come up with a list of questions. We don't necessarily have to come up with them tonight, but we'll have that discussion. And we will have to vote to have those questions. What I had Katie do is give us, the last time we did a search, we did 17 questions, and she's given us the 17 questions that we had used during the interviews. We do not have to do 17, we can do 10, we can do whatever we feel, or whatever we want to make sure is touched on. We don't have to necessarily go with this list. We can come up with some questions for our own. And what I will look to do is we can go through these, and whether we like them or not, discuss it, or come up with some more, and I'll put it together and then get it out to everybody, so that, or if we feel comfortable with using these and eliminating some and going with this, we can do that, vote on it tonight. If not, we can look at voting on it for the next meeting. The next meeting will be, I would like to do it on the 30th, so that we could finalize the questions, and also we can discuss on who will be interviewed.
So these questions are not good.
That's fine.
as
I
I-
just did this so that we'd have some idea
No, I
of what we're
get
sitting
it.
there and deciding, what are we going to ask?
So the problem is that these are softball questions, that anyone that knows anything about education can just throw a bunch of catchwords together and make a coherent answer that you're like, oh yeah, that works. They just throw out the words like, I don't know, high expectations and accountability and rigor and implemented with
What are
fidelity.
you gonna do for
If
the
they-
first 3 months?
They could just like throw all those words out and sound really smart. So I wrote my own questions.
Okay,
I also reached out to some people in the community saying like,
Okay, that's
hey,
fine.
if you have questions, send them to me. So I have questions. I have 7 that I wrote myself, and then I have some that people sent to me. That there was some overlap because obviously a lot of people have the same stuff on their mind. So if you want to, I mean, I don't know that it's worth it to like go through these, or if you want to start with
we
mine.
could
or
do,
if-
we could start with yours, and
Okay.
then we can go through these, just as a, I'm not saying I love these, but we used them, just to give us a template, some idea, and then we could go through these to see if any of these we could pick or choose. I mean, I'm already looking at one. Please describe your first 3 months in the job. What would it look like? It's like, I don't really think that's gonna tell us much.
It's not.
It's not.
No,
So,
the
I
only
mean,
one that's even worth kind of keeping is the first one. That's like your leadership philosophy. You build leadership capacity in the district, but I think that's kind of covered in other ones. So my first one's real short, so I'll just start with that one. How would you approach an interim superintendent position differently than a permanent superintendent position, if at all? You don't have to write it down. I got it right here.
You're gonna send
I
it
can-
to me?
I can send it to you.
You're gonna take care of tweaking it and
Oh,
send it to me? That's fine.
I'm very good
Perfect.
at this, yes.
What's everybody's thoughts?
Do we need a decision on including it?
No, just like, do you like the question?
Well, do you like the
Joe,
question?
sure, yeah,
You think the
And
absolutely.
then
question's
what
crap?
I'll do is, she
No,
can
yeah,
send it
that's-
to me, and I'll resend it out, so that way everybody can get a chance to look at it and think about it
And
some
then
more.
we'll vote
but
on them on the 30th.
We'll vote on the 30th, what we're gonna actually include. We may come up with, you said you had 7?
I have 7 written, but then I have a couple from
So
other
we may
people that-
come up with
I mean,
12, 15.
Yeah, I think between 10 and 12 is probably.
And probably 10 is probably a, so let's do it that way. If everybody agrees, we could do it that way. We don't have to vote on it tonight, because we've got time. But at least it gets us, it gets a list out there, and it gets us thinking about what is important
Yes.
right now to go through with this process.
And these are in no particular order, just so you know. They might jump around a little. Go ahead.
Okay?
So is the interim superintendent going to be able to apply for the full-time position?
Sure.
I would say yes.
Okay, because I think, to your distinction there, we should make a difference between whether they're coming in as an interim versus long-term, I would think. Like
Well,
you-
we're hiring them as an intern, as an
Right,
interim.
right, right.
And
So
then
your
they would have to
question-
like reapply.
Yes.
Right.
It was, my thought, and I think I shared it before, is that when we get into the spring, we do a full, complete search, which, looking back at the last one we did, I believe lasted almost 4 months by the time it was done. At least 3 months, from what I can tell with the dates. So if we do that in the spring,
I think we should start right after, when we come back in January. I think that's when we
Yeah.
should start.
January, February,
Yeah.
and, because that's the time that everybody starts thinking about looking, moving, and a lot of, probably good people are available at that point. And so we would do the full title, get the community involved, get subcommittee, and go through the whole thing. So that was, my thoughts were to do it then, rather than try to rush through right now. And if this appears we're rushing, we're not really rushing. We're sort of trimming it down, I would dare say, but I think we need to have someone in place for when school opens who's got experience, and like I explained in the email I sent out to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying to say that
Right.
whatever questions we come up with, they should be geared towards an interim the interim position
Yes.
as opposed
And
to.
then we
Yes,
can
very
tweak
much
them for the next one.
Yeah,
We can tweak them for the next one.
I
based
would
on-
say that most of these questions would not be applicable to someone in the next round when we're looking for someone permanently. Some of them would be.
We go with the first one? We'll go with the first one.
Yes, next. This one's a little longer, I apologize. It is well known that teacher, para, and substitute shortages have become more common in schools across the country and that are struggling to put qualified people in front of students. Our school district is no exception. In fact, our high school has become notorious for warehousing several classrooms worth of students in the library for full instructional periods because there is no one to teach them in the classroom. Do you have the skill or creativity to try to get these students back into a productive classroom environment and not just babysat? Explain.
I think to your point, they can come up with a vanilla answer. So I think not only should we ask them that, but we should ask them for an example of how they've done it, if they have in the past. 'Cause I doubt anybody's going to say no.
Well, and since it's a nationwide problem, I'm sure they've experienced it possibly themselves.
Explain how you've addressed staffing shortages of this nature in the past. Great. Next. As in any profession, no, this one was worded better. Mine was very sharp. This one is worded a lot better. Hang on, let me. Nope, not there. Hold on. I have them in a couple of places. Bear with me. What assessment protocols have you used in the past to evaluate administrators' performance and achievement results? What accountability will be used of you as a superintendent to evaluate administrators? Mine was meaner.
Could you repeat that?
Yeah, I didn't do a very good job reading that. What assessment protocols have you used in the past to evaluate administrators' performance and achievement results? What accountability measures will be used as superintendent to evaluate administrators?
Short term or long term? We're looking at short term.
Yeah, but, I mean, they're gonna be here for a full school year, so we need to
Yes.
make sure that we're not falling further off the cliff to get back on the land.
It's fine.
Great.
Good?
Our special education services have been called into question quite a bit. We have had an audit, and we have important reviews from the state coming up. What do you bring to the table to help us make sure we are providing the correct services to the correct students on day one of this school year, and to help us prepare for these reviews?
I would concur.
Yep. I agree.
Number 5. As you become more aware of how things have gone for our staff in the last year or so, what message will you have for them in your initial meeting? Which was kind of repeated in a lot of the things that I got back, like how will you build rapport with the staff? How will you establish yourself as this, short-term leader in this time of transition? Like, there were all kinds of questions like that.
So basically, number 13 on this one.
Is that what that says? How do you build rapport with your administrators, teaching staff, and with the staff, family, and students? Yeah, that's the same nature.
I think it's an important question.
I agree.
Great. Number 6. Culture is one of the most important aspects of any place of employment, but it is also one of the hardest to change. Add to that this community tends to be made up mostly of people that either will go through the schools, are going through the schools now, or have gone through the schools. How have you approached school culture in the past, and how do you see yourself approaching it here in WARE with our special circumstances?
It's That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a very good question.
Ask them how they deal with disagreements among their reports. So we're at, I mean, if they're going to do any background, they're going to, I would think they're going to understand what they're coming into, so they might not always have a consensus with their principals, their teachers, et cetera. So I think we'd want to know if they're going to get us through the first year, what are they going to do? Are they going to just keep things status quo and just avoid and dodge? Or what are they going to do to help us address any issues we have to address if there's not?
That's almost like a separate question.
Yeah, that is a separate question, but I like it.
It might go with
Even
your
as-
rapport one too, but
Even as interim, you will need
It's more of a community engagement,
to
no?
yeah, it's full gamut,
establish and
as
enforce
we know.
policy. How do you see yourself, I'll read it in a second, just talking out loud. How do you see yourself addressing resistance to change in this short time? Even as interim, you will need to establish and enforce policy. How do you see yourself addressing resistance to change in this short time? Is that close to what you were going for?
Yeah.
Yep.
Great. That makes 8. Good job, us. Sorry, the culture question. We're good on the culture question? Great. Number 7, nepotism is a problem in many school systems. How have you addressed this issue in the past, and do you think you could address it if needed here in the same way, even though you are an interim?
What was it, nepotism?
Yes.
Sounds good.
My only thing with that one is that even if they do research, which the best ones will, is that going to give them any indication as to what our degree of nepotism is? Until they get here and find out.
No, that's why I said nepotism
Okay.
is a problem everywhere. Like,
Okay.
to answer that question, they don't know if our nepotism is this much or if our nepotism
Or
is
if
this
they've dealt with it
much.
before.
But if they've dealt with it before
How would
and
they handle it?
how they
Okay.
handle it, because, I mean, there's no one in the room that's gonna say nepotism is good, right? Everybody agrees nepotism is
Correct.
bad, so we need to make sure that we have someone that is prepared to address that.
They know what they're coming into. It could possibly be coming into.
Could possibly be coming into.
Yes.
Hypothetically,
Yes.
yes. All right. Those are those. And then I had a couple of other ones. There was a question that somebody sent to me about accreditation. What experience and qualifications do you have to complete the NEASC accreditation currently being done at our school? And I honestly don't know what that is or what it's
Yes.
about.
It's about high school accreditation.
Are we
We go through it every
renewing?
10 years, maybe? 10 years. And we're due, it will begin, the process will begin, I believe, starting in November.
Oh, so we
It
need to
goes
know
through
about
into
that.
next year. So most school districts do it. There are a few that have dropped out, but we still do it.
Well, it's not like we're gonna get an extension because we have an interim, right? Like, it has to
Correct.
be, okay.
Um,
I'm just gonna add that in here then, because that sounds important. NEASC. What does that stand for? New England something, I imagine?
New England Association,
Accreditation of
Accreditation
school
of School, something, something. NEASC.
Okay.
It's only taken me 6 months to remember how to say it, NEAS, and not
Are
something else.
we worried about our accreditation?
I don't think so. I thought,
No, I don't think so.
I thought we had certain milestones that we're working towards, and we've been hitting them up. That was my understanding. I mean, Dan Orslak would be able to answer that, I think, and whoever was a part of that committee that was working with superintendent on it. Does anybody here know?
It is a long process. They come here, they spend, I believe, a week. They do interviews, they take probably a couple months to write a report. They come back, present it to us, and there's a whole laundry list of,
I'm sure there are like artifacts and things we have to provide to them.
correct.
Yep.
And let me see what can be, if we've got the last one or something for the last one that we can share, and that way we're familiar again with it.
Great.
Like I said, it's every 10 years, so I mean, it's been a while.
The last one that I feel like was not redundant to what I have here is about human resources. How do you make human resource issues protocol transparent? Such as qualified applicants, evaluation tools, discipline, complaints, like that kind of stuff. I was shocked when I learned we didn't have a human resources department. I thought that was strange, but people apparently don't think that's strange. I'm wondering if someone who's applying to be a superintendent here would be equally as surprised to find out that they are the HR department.
Surprised or be capable of handling that.
Yeah, because I would say if they're coming from a district even a little bit bigger than ours, that's all out of house, like that's all separate. So I'm gonna add that because
Okay.
we don't have an HR department. So that takes me to 10.
Go beyond, we can hold it at 10.
I mean, I don't know if you want to look over this and see if there's anything that I didn't. I mean, the last one, if your name was searched on Google, like, I've done that to everyone. Like, I've stalked every single person that has sent, well, except for the ones that came in this afternoon at like 2, because I was swimming until I showered and came here. So, other than those people, everyone has been sufficiently stalked. And 2 people have like open investigations against them and have been put on paid administrative leave. I'm like, wow, that's really gutsy to apply here.
Weird.
I'm like, did you not
Odd.
Google us? Like, you should Google us. I'm Googling you.
At this point, I would not share those names.
No, I will not.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any questions about community engagement?
I do not. Let me finish typing this, you guys, can- yeah. All right, community engagement. Is there one on here?
I don't think there is actually on here. I was looking, but no, I didn't see anything that was on here.
I
that
thought about putting a question
collaborated
here
with
about
that.
budget, but yeah, okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, we just thought it was an important question so that we could find out what kind of opportunity they offer for community engagement and how they are going to handle that.
Yeah, see, I don't know if that's so much an interim superintendent thing. I mean,
Well, they're gonna be here for a year. It's a long time.
Yeah, I guess
and
that's
there's-
true.
We've been through a lot. So a good way to move
There-
forward.
That's
There's
is
probably
to
gonna
do
have to
that.
be some
the
interaction.
community at large will
Yes.
want to interact with this person.
Correct,
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's important.
yes.
Do you want them to just share
I think a more
like,
generalized question of how that individual would make themselves available to the community at large, whether that be through events here or via email or,
I like that part of the question.
know what I mean?
and
You don't
also wanna know
necessarily
how
have to
they're
show
going
up.
to- How they're going to continue
Approach.
to keep the community
Yeah.
engaged in their process while they're here. and what they're gonna do to serve that purpose. And then the other one I had was 13, but you already have a question like that, so we don't need to repeat it.
Do we need to ask them about budget? Because they will be here for the next budget.
I actually wondered about budget questions, but I didn't know how involved they would be involved in the budget, because I know that Andy does a lot of the heavy lifting, and I just didn't know how involved they were gonna be in it, or if basically they would just have to stick to the budget once it's done. Or like move stuff in the budget. You know what I'm saying? Like,
We probably should still ask how you develop the district budget proposal, how they would go about doing it. Because even though we do have people that,
Budget
take care-
priorities, because there's obviously small things that,
Yeah,
oh yeah, thank
You
you
know
for
what I
saying the
mean?
word prioritize. Somebody sent me a good question with that word in it. Remind me of that in just a second, because I'm gonna forget by the time I finish
I
typing
think
this.
larger budget priorities, or how do you go about identifying larger budget priorities?
I mean, even though we have Andy, we also,
Right.
it's the superintendent who's responsible for
Right.
putting it together, presenting it to the subcommittee, and pulling something together.
Just so you know, if the person in this says, my door's always open to this answer, I'm gonna have to say sorry. Our community is highly invested in our schools. How have you engaged with communities in the past? How will you introduce yourself to the community and maintain connections? How will you make yourself available to the community? You good with that? Yeah. All right, hit me with the budget question.
Something along the lines of identifying budget priorities and reporting those back. Identifying immediate needs versus long-term needs versus.
And developing the budget. How do you go about it?
Capital planning needs, you know, it is overall budget development, but
Prioritizing. Apparently don't know how to spell that. All right, help me finish it. What skills and experience do you have developing budgets and prioritizing spending? Is that it?
That's good?
Question mark. Got
Question
it.
mark.
All right. 13, yes. Priorities. Hang on, there was a question in here somewhere about prioritizing things. It kind of, maybe it's here. How will you prioritize the various issues that need to be addressed? And I realize this is kind of a loaded question because they don't know the various issues that need to be addressed. So I don't know if they can even answer that.
But I think if they've done some research, they should know.
Great.
I mean, first of all, the first question they should be asking themselves is, why an interim? And there's a reason for an interim. It's to get us back together. And so either they should ask the question to us, maybe in advance, or as a way to answer that, or maybe they need to do some research.
How will you prioritize the various issues that need to be addressed here and where?
So Brian,
That's 13, that's all I've got.
Brian, to your point, those are good questions, by the way. To your point, I think we should ask them, why are they applying for an interim position? And what would be their primary objective or goal as an interim superintendent? So if they're watching right now, they're gonna start working on that question, but I think we should ask it.
I like that.
that's a great question.
And then are there negotiations, gonna be, I think, was there negotiations upcoming?
That will, negotiations for union contracts?
Yeah.
That we'll get letters probably in December, January, and that will probably start February, March, April, which they would be here for getting ready for that, or, so that's probably another good question, as far as what has their involvement been.
Hold that thought real quick,
Yep.
sorry. Why are you applying for an interim superintendent position? What are your personal objectives and goals?
Yeah, what would be their primary objective or goal as an interim? Like, what, you know, if you're only going to be here for a year, what do you plan on doing for the next year? Or what should they be? What do they
Great.
think they should be?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah,
Go
they're gonna
ahead.
be doing something or just collecting a paycheck. So, yeah.
Well, I think we'll make it very clear to them that this person is going to be very much under a microscope. Like, between the community, the teachers, and us, like, this person's very much going to be held accountable. Like, if they just want to sit in their office and organize their pencils, like, this is not the job for them.
Right. Definitely.
I do not envy a single person that's going to take this job. I don't want it. Mike wants it.
No. No, man. No.
She's
Sorry,
just
what were
kidding
you
if you're
saying?
watching. It's a great job.
Oh, yeah, please, come to WARE. We're great.
Union negotiations,
Yes.
like, you know, what experience do they have?
I think we
and-
had,
I think there's one in there about that.
And working with very cooperative unions, where there are no conflicts. Just kidding.
but there wasn't here.
Was what?
But I guess there isn't.
What experience do you have working with teacher and para unions? Like, do we want to say more to that?
What was that again?
What experience do you have working with teacher and para unions?
Social custodians. Probably just say unions in general,
Unions.
because of, it's several. It's-
Got it.
it's pretty much all of them.
I'm just going to say, can you share a time where you need to compromise? Sure. I think that's good. It's a lot of questions.
Sounds good?
So when we're doing this, like, can we ask like follow-up questions? Is that allowed, or do we have to like just like shut up once we ask the question?
We can ask follow-up questions about the subject.
Got it.
In other words, we can't be, say, doing the union question and then all of a sudden,
Change
you know,
path.
change to a different,
Understood.
you know, come up with, say, well, we Googled this.
Stay
on
within
here.
the scope, so to speak.
Correct.
Got it.
And the reason we come up with questions is because we have to ask the same question of everybody.
Got
We
it.
can't pick and choose. Now, if they volunteer something, we can do follow-up, we can question them on that particular, because they brought it up, but it's, we have to be treating everybody the same questions. And
That makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and just save us some time here and go ahead and
Send it to
email
everybody.
this out right now to everybody. Is there
Yes.
anyone other than the 5 of us that needs this?
Send it to Adam, and send it to Katie, so that she can keep it all together for us.
CC Adam.
Because she can actually
CC.
send it back to us for the
Katie.
next meeting.
So you, me, obviously, Adam and Katie. Got it. Attach. Here are the proposed questions.
So what we'll do is we'll vote them on at the next meeting. This way it gives us a chance to just look them over and see if there's anything we want to tweak. And so give us a chance to think about it, and think about if there's anything else. It could be
So we'll
something
have
else.
another opportunity to look at these again,
Yes,
is what you're saying? Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And then we can vote on. I'm gonna sort of, if we're done with that.
Well, we're done, because I just sent
Okay.
it.
I will just quickly move to old unfinished business as far as
What?
interim.
Yeah, I had that in there. Yeah, there was, let me read it to you.
If you're gonna ask her to say something, you gotta come to the mic, because no one can hear you.
Well, she tried to write it on a piece of paper, I just couldn't see it.
Oh, okay.
Our special education services have been called into question quite a bit. We have had an audit, and we have important reviews from the state coming up. What do you bring to the table that helps us make sure we are providing the correct students, the correct services to the correct students on day one in this school year, and to help us prepare for these reviews? Question 4.
Okay. I'm gonna just quickly, as far as old unfinished business, I'm gonna skip down to just an interim search update. I did send out an email, and I'll just repeat those things. The selection discussion, the interviews, and the vote will occur in open meetings. We have to give a 2-day posting, so we just can't say, we're gonna meet tomorrow. We have to give it 2 days to post.
Just set that there for me.
As far as the selection process, we can eliminate candidates in advance based on the posting we did. I'm gonna get more information that I'll send out to everybody as far as how we go about that. Because right now, we stand at 20 people that have applied. I spent most of the day going through them. And there are some that will more than likely not qualify. And so we will only give interviews to those that qualify and meet our criteria. But letters will be sent out to all candidates that are not interviewed, and that way we cover ourselves there.
Great.
And basically, we must ask the same questions. So, that being said, is everybody available for next Wednesday at 6:30? We'll vote on the questions and we'll vote on the list, talk about the list of people, and decide which ones we want to interview and when we could do the interviews, what timelines would be available so that we could get that posted, because we have to do a 2-day posting for the interviews. So if everybody's available next Wednesday?
I am.
I am coming back from camping, but I'll be back in the evening.
Zoom or live?
I mean, I'll be here. I'll be back from
Whatever, it
camping.
doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Whatever you want.
Aaron's
Whatever's
checking
easiest
his-
for people.
Yeah, whatever's easiest.
Aaron's checking his schedule.
Yep. It's a regularly
Good.
scheduled session, right?
Are those the only two topics we're talking about that evening?
Yes. Just to
Okay.
keep the process moving.
Okay.
The only other thing we might have is warrants and payroll.
Right,
Because
of
that'll be
course.
part of the
Understood.
rotation. So, other than that, that's it.
6:30 on the 30th?
Yes,
Got it.
and I'll have her post it
In person?
in person. Old unfinished business, fireworks update.
We meet again. How are you tonight?
Good, thank you.
Hi, Mr. Flynn.
We're excited about the opportunity. We are T minus 19 days, as long as it doesn't rain. If not, we're T minus 20 days. The only item that's still open is the state fire marshal. Jim Martinez received the paperwork this week. He signed off on it, noted no changes, and sent it over to state fire marshal. We expect to hear from him next week. As long as it's submitted 7 days before the event, we're perfectly on time. The marshal noted last year how perfect the setup was, and honestly, we expect no problems. Vendors are set, volunteers are set, police chief, fire chief are set. We've raised enough money. Actually, we're a little short, but we have money coming in. So we're excited about the opportunity. And again, without you, this never would have happened. The only place in town we could hold fireworks ever again is the campus. Granville Park is always going to be too small because of growing, and the state regulations, and we're going to follow regulations every time. So I know Stuart, Dustin, and Nicole met with Mr. Winslow last week and other members of the school administration and went over questions. Went smoothly, and we expect to be in full communication until after the event. On Monday, when we walk through and make sure there's no trash on the ground, and place is better than we left it. The old adage, leave your campground better than you left it. Better than you found it. So.
I know a tremendous amount of work went into this, so
Absolutely.
thank you.
Last year we had 6 weeks, but this year we had 9 months, and we started planning in late November. And the idea came forward to expand and kind of get ready for next year's celebration. So next year's going to be even bigger, the 250th. So we kind of want to get a running start on that. And I think the neat thing is Charlie's going to sing. Hometown legend Charlie. Charlie's last going to be
That's
the
awesome.
feature artist. That's wonderful.
Your fireworks last year were, the whole event that evening last year was amazing. It was so much fun, and everybody had such a great time. It was wonderful.
We got lucky. Honestly, the company was wonderful to work with. Nicole set the whole thing up. The challenging thing was she called January 1st for a price, and it went up 28% to the same show. And the WARE Business Civics and Beyond Association made a commitment to help raise the funds. So we held 2 fundraisers, great events, celebrity bartender nights at Hannah's on Main. They were great to spot, hold them, and we raised enough to cover the increase of fireworks, which was roughly $3,000. Increase of detail money, raises go up, and increase on the porta potties. So that means what we raised last year is the same amount this year. And luckily, all businesses in town came through, and they were great. I mean, it is so cool going into a business, and they know you're there. They say, how can we help? And next thing you know, it's a check waiting, made out to town of Ware, and they know it went to a good cause.
That's awesome.
Are you doing anything different this year than you did last year?
We added on the kids' activities in the beginning. Munster Savings Bank sponsored the kids zone, inflatables and bounce houses. We have a dunk tank sponsored by Superior Plus. We have a kickball game. It's going to be Team Stewart against Team Dustin, I believe, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We thought about doing a couple other things, but we just couldn't work into the framework. We're doing a concert from 7 to 8:45 up in the field. We worked with Bill Alderman, who walked us through the proper placement of the stage and make sure we don't impact on the track or the field. That's the big thing. We do not want to leave, again, you leave a site better than you found it. That's our goal.
So last year, I believe Dr. Lovato was like your point person.
Yes.
So did you need a point person since he's been gone, or like?
I believe we're working with Dr., I can't remember her name, Ginger
Ginger Coleman?
Coleman, and then, of course, Brian as a backup. So we have those 2 people. And right now, there are 4 of us in
You're
the
going to be
committee.
there that night. You're welcome to.
So we have 4 of us in the committee. If you see a person in a red shirt, we're all there. We're talking every day about the activities. All 4 of us know this better than the other person. There's a full map, full detail, and everything's ready to go. Unless it rains both nights, which would really be a bad thing. So I'll stop by All Saints in the morning and light a couple of candles.
Thank
So
you.
it should be good.
I
Hope you
believe-
guys all attend. Hope all
I
the people
believe
in the room
Stu
attend.
has graciously offered to be the point person. He's shaking
Sure.
his head yes. We do have the insurance policy. Town did provide it to us, so we're all taken care of there. The police and the fire details are all set.
Yep, and police details
They've got
all.
all the detailed plans they want and what times with parking and everything. And and like I said, Bill was consulted as far as using the softball field, the football field, and other things. So we're covered off on that. And we took care of his concerns. And that should be it.
Fingers crossed, but
Now we hope for the weather.
agreed. That's the big thing. But I think it's going to be bigger than ever. I think we had estimated 1,500 attending last year. So we're planning on 2 this year. So Seward secured the parking at the National Guard Armory. So that allows another 175 cars. And it should be enough to do the overflow.
And I'm told it's 10 minutes longer than last year.
No, it is not.
It is not? Oh, that's
It
what they
is
mentioned.
20
at
minutes
the meeting.
long. Trust me, it was negotiations with them, and they wanted to either cut the blasts And again, going from a 3-inch to a 5-inch diameter from the park here, the booms are 200 feet higher. And that would led us to a fantastic finale last year. There wasn't a 10-second intermission between every single blast, or 600 blasts over 20 minutes. And right now, it was at, or same price for 520, which we said no way. So we made a decision to raise the money. We raised the money, and now have same show as same size show. They'll move around a little bit based on what they have in stock. But flexibility is quote, off-season. And it's open season for them, so they can bring down their warehouse and blow it up if they want to.
Any other questions? So we're good. Thank you very much.
Does anybody volunteer to be in a dunk tank? Mike, no?
I'm all set.
All right. Thank you again.
Thank you. Maybe. I'm sure we could raise a lot of money for that.
What?
Put one of us in a dunk tank.
I'm not hearing any volunteers, so I guess we'll have to pass.
Definitely not.
For next year's show.
Yes, we can plan ahead. Banner advertising update. I do, Mr.
I pulled up his last email, but if he wants to come speak to it, that'd be great.
Yes. I know that's fallen a little bit by the wayside with
Frank Bateman, I am a resident here in Ware.
everything going on.
So without going through the entire email that I sent, I did do a rewrite of the program itself. I lined through what I would recommend taking out. I highlighted what I think that change could be. Again, my recommendations to you, so I make none of the decisions. As a highlight, there really were 4 different recommendations that I made. One was, I think you may be better off not offering the banners to come through the school, right? Number one, it's advertising, and so I would imagine that businesses have the ability to do that advertising. We certainly can give the different vendors lists to them. They can kind of do that. Number one, it adds another layer of responsibility for somebody that's not really in their wheelhouse. Number two, if it comes out wrong, regardless whose fault it is, you now have an issue with the school and a business in town. So it may just be better not to do that piece to it. Again, I didn't recommend costs. I think that that's something that you guys should internally take care of. However, I did recommend putting together a map of the fence line. And so, number one, somebody really has to manage that, right? If somebody is leasing a spot for 3 years, when that thing comes down at the end of the year, it has to go up in the same spot. So somebody has to manage what that map looks like. You also need to know then what on the next year, what now is already reserved for that year, right? So somebody has to manage that piece to it. That as well could come into that cost factor, right? Prime spots, and then maybe the wings, not so prime spots. And exemptions. So I recommended that the veterans organizations probably should be exempt at Veterans Field. Again, that's kind of up to you guys, but my recommendation. Are there any questions for me?
I was really impressed as I read through this, so I just want to say thank you for taking this on. It was something that nobody else really had the time to do, and you did a really good job. So I really like your recommendation of having whatever business contact, an approved vendor and, say what size they want and give them the design and handle all of that. And then they have to deliver that to someone in our organization by a specific date and know where on the fence it's going. So I really like that recommendation. I like taking that piece of it out for us.
100%.
Well, so however it works out, once the committee has made determination, with any or all of these recommendations, I'm more than willing to then go in, change that document, pull out the red highlights, make things appropriate. I'll remain the secretary for this process if that's what you decide, or not, whatever it is that you decide.
Right. Cool. The map thing I'm wondering about, because if someone wants to reserve a spot for 1 year and somebody else wants it for 3 years, and we gotta know who's done and who's not, like, that's kind of a thing.
It would either be easy or be very difficult.
Well, it'd be easy if one person did it and that person stayed around, but like, it would also be really difficult if one person took it on and they did it for 2 years and then they left and then somebody else
It's
got to
gotta be
pick it up.
Somehow to,
Well, and to be honest with you, I kind of thought about that as well. Wherever this document is, really can just be something that's tacked on the wall, right? The fence lines can be drawn in. You can identify who's got this spot, who's got this spot.
Yeah,
So when they come down, maybe it's in the same area that the banners are stored in. I don't know if we store them. I don't know if the
this time we
advertisers store them, right? But if-
some do take them, but most of them are
And so
stored by bill.
if we store them, it could be there.
on
And
the
really,
wall. That makes sense.
it would be easy enough to take a picture of that and to keep it in whatever office is going to manage this process as well. right?
Yeah.
So,
That's a good idea. I also like the idea of charging more for like those prime spots, but again, that adds another layer of complexity. Good job.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I don't think it would add a layer if you had the map and you knew in advance what spots
Yeah.
you considered prime, and therefore,
Are all the sections on the fence the same size?
no. I want to say no.
So
And
if
of course,
someone wanted the
you would pay
biggest,
more for a prime location as opposed to, the corners.
so if someone wanted the biggest sign, 4 by 20, would that fit on any of those panels, or would they have to choose a specific panel because they have the biggest sign?
There are a number of panels that would fit that, but they're not all the same size.
Got it.
That's why with the smaller signs, they would be in a different location, not necessarily prime. You'd have to
Gotcha.
get the bigger one.
Okay. And then we have to decide what we're going to charge them to put it up, because they're gonna pay, the $150 to whatever vendor they have it made. But then we have to decide what we're gonna charge them, because in the past, our cost has been associated with the actual making of the poster
Correct.
Right.
or the sign. So we have to come up with our pricing
Rental
structure
space.
for what spaces and what size sign. I don't know if we charge more if they have a big sign, or just charge for the panel regardless of the size of the sign. Probably just for the panel. And we might need to compare with someone else to make sure we're not gouging anybody. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, you're going to pay us $100 for this panel, and somebody's like, oh, in Belchertown they pay 20. I don't know. I don't know what they pay. Oh, here he comes.
Listen, if it'll make it easier, before the 30th, I'll go out and I'll start the map. So I'll give you something that you really can look at with dimensions, because if they're, and I'm guessing, if they're 6 or 8 feet panels, well then, maybe you can put 2 big ones in the same panel or whatever. I don't know that off the top of my head. If it'll make it easier for you, I'll go out and I'll map out the fence line around and let you know.
That would be extremely
Okay.
helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bateman.
Hooray.
So,
Getting things done. I enjoy this. All right.
so, we could quickly put it on the 30th, if we want to do it that quickly, or the meeting after.
No, let's do the meeting after.
Okay, do the meeting after. And what we will do is, we'll have the map, and we'll also be able to, I would suggest everybody go through this again. If there's any questions, or coming up with what they would rather see. Any questions, or any changes, and then we can figure out when we're gonna do this. We have to decide who's gonna do it and how it's gonna be done. So, we need to give it some
Well,
thought.
can you put it out there to see if there's anybody in the district that wants to take this challenge on?
Well, I'm sure there's someone right now that puts them up and takes them down.
That would be Bill Alderman and his team.
Right, but I don't think he.
So their job won't really change, I don't think.
Because they put them up and then take them down before winter.
Right, but
It's
I don't
not
think
like
they do
they're,
the business side of it. I think that's just the work that they do
Right.
in productivity. I don't think they do the.
But then wouldn't it just be like another invoice that's
Financial part.
created and sent out? So like, I think, does Katie do invoices? I pretend to know
Judy
these
does
things.
those invoices.
So Judy would just create an invoice based on whatever pricing structure we make up, and they would send it to, I don't know, Big Y or whoever, and be like, you owe us this much money for the panel on the fence.
If Judy's fine doing it.
but we'd have to come up with a mechanism that when she gets it back.
Where the money
share-
goes?
No, sharing. The money goes into an account that we've already got
Right.
established. But she would have to, we'd have to know who we're gonna pass that on to, or she would pass that information that it's good to go.
Oh, like to put it up?
Right. Which is probably simple enough.
Yeah.
She sends an email, or she sends it out once a month or once a week, or,
Well, she would
Whatever.
have like a deadline, right? So
Right.
like she sends all the invoices out, they have to be paid by this date.
so we do it
So
then.
then she just sends an email out on that date saying all these
Okay.
people have paid, put up their posters,
Okay.
signs, whatever. Pricing for fence panel. That's what we gotta find out. Okay, cool.
The next thing is the athletic handbook, which I don't think has gotten very far, or has started, or,
Well, supposedly there was a group working on that. Did that die?
Which guy? Shammy? Mr.
No,
Shimmy?
I asked if it died.
Oh,
Like
if
the
it
group working
died.
on it, if the
If it
group,
died.
if the group died.
Got it.
don't know if it got up and running.
Oh,
So I guess we have to put together or decide. Definitely won't be soon, but I guess we have some answers to that question.
So I hope to answer some of your questions. So back in November at a parent meeting, a parent brought up an extracurricular handbook from 2015, 2016 that I had never seen before as athletic director for 6 years at the time. So it was kind of interesting to see it. We went by our school handbook and, went by past practice. So athletic handbook makes sense, especially with the changing climate in athletics in Massachusetts and the state as a whole. Mr. Slattery sent out a letter to the staff here in the building on March 19th, asking for volunteers for a committee to work on the athletic handbook. We didn't receive any replies. So Mr. Slattery and I have been working together to make an athletic handbook. So here is a draft handbook. It's 16 pages currently. It mirrors some of the MIA policies that are set forth that we have to follow, as well as some district and school policies. But I think that before we continue to work on it, I think we just need more direction, because the extracurricular / athletic handbook that exists from 2015, 2016 was not very in-depth, and we're already at, and this was back when we did paper registrations, so half of this is paper registration of those pages back then. So
This document used to be before we went online with our sports applications. Mrs. Moriarty used to sit in the cafeteria when you signed up your student athlete. I don't know if anyone remembers, they would get this packet. This is a registration packet, is what this was. And they had a few extracurricular handbook, and it's very vague. So that's where this is from.
So in the one that we've been working on, we went through and we did membership and governance of high school athletics, for WARE High School. MIAA, PVIAC is our local organization, National Federation of High School Sports, which oversees all sports. We follow a lot of their policies. We talked about academic requirements. We talked about what you need to do to maintain academic eligibility. We talk about the bona fide team rule, which is an MIA policy that we have to follow. We talked about athletic awards and what kind of awards you get through playing athletics. We talked about athletic gate fees, our program offerings each season. We talk about athletic registration, how to register, what the parameters are. Talk about tryouts, tryout start dates, athletic user fees, our refund policy, where to find our sports schedule. We talk about captain's practices, insurance and injuries, concussion policies, concussion education requirements, return to play protocol, the administrative chain of command, the chain of communication and conflict resolution, a daily attendance policy, which doesn't currently exist, practice and game attendance, security of personal belongings, drug use and MIA chemical health policy. We talk about violations and what they look like, equipments and uniforms, hazing, lightning and threatening weather policy. We talk about medical examinations, physicals, EpiPens, injuries, philosophies of playing time, vacations and student athletes, sportsmanship, recruiting and college play, roles and responsibilities of the student athlete, the coach, the officials, caregivers and families, athletic director. And then we also talk about school discipline and athletics, as well as the transfer students, MIA Rule 57.1, and transportation. So it's pretty in-depth, but I guess we want to know where we want to go next.
So what percentage of that document would you say is stuff you got from the MIAA, and what percentage is like unique to what you added in as WARE?
I think most schools that have an athletic handbook have pretty similar information in their handbook. The specific MIA policies would be the bona fide team rule, chemical health, athletic eligibility for age, in-season play, the membership and governance is probably from the bona
Say
fide
it's like
team.
half and half, like,
Yeah, I think probably half our MIA policies and then half our policies that you need to have in an athletic program. And most of which we've had, just there hasn't been a formal place to go and see them.
cool. Do you mind reading this section on the daily attendance? Because you mentioned it doesn't exist before, so I'm just
Well,
curious.
I
what you
mean, we're
wrote.
going to have to approve it.
Yeah,
with the,
I mean,
with the handbook anyway,
She just
right?
wants to hear what it.
I just
Oh,
want to hear what
okay.
it says.
Yeah, because I was a little
She has
surprised with that
input.
one too. That,
yes, the MIA handbook for daily attendance says it falls to the school policy.
Right.
So the MIA itself does not have one.
That's what I found when I did my research as well.
That's accurate. So, to start, put something on paper, we said daily attendance policy to participate in practices, competitions, or weekend events. Students, athletes must attend at least half the school day. This means no arrival after 11:15, no dismissals before 11:15. The athletic director or school administration may override this policy when warranted. So it's just a draft, and so we could fill in whatever we decide on the policy. We don't approve policy. I can make recommendations.
Right.
And for that, I went to other, I looked at Agawam's handbook, Belchertown, Westfield, Palmer, Marlboro, Westboro. We
so when
looked
would
at-
you override it? What reason would you override it?
If,
There was one year when they kind of used it to be in school by 8:10, there was a kid that it was pouring rain, and we had this policy, his car broke down, he ran all the way to school, was all worked up that he wasn't gonna be able to practice or play that day, because he came in at 8:30. So that would be something that administration said, okay, listen, you couldn't control your car breaking down, you're gonna be able to play or practice that day. That would be a good, a doctor's pay. I had a dentist appointment in Belcher on 8:30, so my parents are leaving the house at 8. Bring the note, we bring the note to the office that you were there. They came in at 9:30. So those are the little things that we would.
Do we want to qualify it in a sense that,
Well, you can say like excuse tardy, which would be doctor's notes.
Right.
Van emergencies.
But no matter what, a student has to be at some point present at the school during that day. They cannot not show up to school and then go and play.
Correct.
Right? That's clarified?
That's what it would be. At least half the school day.
Right.
That's how it's written now.
Right.
And that's, every school's different. If we looked at there's 6 different policies. But it allows some flexibility. Johnny or Susie need to get their braces tightened or taken off, or, have a doctor's appointment, or, Graham's visiting from
Those
out
are
of town,
excused, as
things
long as
like
they have a
that.
note, correct?
Coming in because there's a test first period is not a valid excuse. And that's sometimes a kid, up later, was working late, didn't have the test, they didn't come in,
It's
that's the
reasonable,
stuff that
as long as it's
we've been
excused.
seeing in the past that is unacceptable.
Yeah, and I mean, we can hash this out later on, but the communication between the attendants and the coaches, because I know not all coaches are teachers in the school and have access to the attendance.
Well, they all have an email through the school, and we do send out daily attendance through the email. So we would have to get with Mr. Shamgillian to make sure that our coaches are checking the email daily.
Okay,
Because it'll say right there, Mel Whittam, it'll say tardy, 8:34.
Okay.
Right next to your name. So the coach would look and say, you were tardy today, Probably they would shoot, if they did it right, they would look at it prior, to practice. They could shoot Mr. Shamgillian an email saying, hey, was an excuse or anything, and he would communicate to the coach now.
okay.
I think that extra level of oversight would go a long way, and student athletes would probably make the right decision knowing that there was another set of eyes on it.
And the coaches would also make the right decision, like not just let the kid practice just because they're important to the team.
Coaches follow the policies.
Okay.
So what kind of direction are you looking for?
So
Well, I mean, I didn't have this conversation with anybody about an athletic handbook other than, Mr. Slattery. So, I'm not sure what we're looking at. No matter what we do, it has to go to legal. In my opinion, there's probably some policy in here, which, that's the school committee would be policy. So I think that, I think probably it needs to go at this point. There might need to be a subcommittee, policy subcommittee with the school committee, and we can work through some of the finer details with myself and building principal as subject matter experts for, athletics and MIAA, and then whoever else you think should be on it. And then
So I
work
think,
through some of the finer
yeah, I think
points.
that's a good idea. I think, I was thinking, you read ahead on one area, what other schools are doing. I think that's good. And also MIAA, it's probably reflected in that. Also, at the opening of every sports year, you have like that get-together or whatever. So you have a lot of existing documentation that you probably already mentioned a lot of it, I heard it already.
Yeah, every season we have on a
Yeah,
preseason
so-
meeting where we go through
Yep.
chemical health, bona fide team. We
So
go
that's-
through.
that's good. So
We
you
go
pull it
through all
from
those
there.
things. And also when student athletes, when their families sign up, there's a lot of information in the sign-up system that they sign off on, that they've received the information. So that's kind of served almost as part of our policy manual. But it's good to have something where you could take it off the shelf and look at it if you had a question.
Yeah, so I think you have that already, that's good. And then also, the SPED director should take a look at it, because there could be some Title VI stuff in there. Just want to make sure it's kosher with whatever the school is deciding on that, and the state has requirements. MIAA should be weighing in on that already, so you're probably good to go on that, but you still might want to run it by Dr. Coleman. And then the last thing I think is then we would hit to see what areas of the draft, if you could produce a draft, share it with us, need to be either pulled up with existing policy or, just make sure it's consistent.
Yeah, because if we have a policy about attendance for the regular handbook, we want to make sure that they don't contradict.
Yeah, and I think between that, from what I think then you'll have pretty comprehensive topics. So that would be the direction I would offer.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you for
I don't know if
working on
that answers your question or not.
I think it's a solid document. There's many hours put into this. I think that Mr. Shamgillian is one of the best athletic directors in the state. I think my background in sports, we went through it, we talked through it. We want to make it fair but firm. We want to hold our students accountable. You know, athletics is an extension of the classroom, and it's a privilege here to play. So that's the mindset that we have here.
Yeah.
And this is something that we have now.
Yeah, I was just saying that, before you throw it at the school committee for a subcommittee, if you have all those checked off, then I think it'd be ready for us to review.
It'd be nice to see another set of eyes, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. And I think that, you know, the chances of, in my mind, the chance of rolling out this document before the first day of school is slim to none. But I think that we may want to look at before that attendance policy and have something like that approved, and it could go into the overall policy after. But I think it's something that, I think people want that. I think we need it. So I think that might be something that, you know, we want to look at before the start of the school year.
Was the hazing section from MIAA, or is that something you wrote?
MIAA.
Okay.
there's some sections in here that are MIA that,
In the state, actually. It's actually
Yeah.
the state.
for the state, they have to be.
Great.
Our kids sign a hazing agreement. Sometimes the state will come in and check the hazing agreement. They've shown up. It's been at least 7 years, but they'll come in and ask for each team's hazing agreement, as well as groups and clubs.
Good.
So that's state.
The coaches present it, read it, and then all the kids sign it.
Okay.
While we have the mic, we just mentioned two things that's been going on in the meeting. It's not related to this, but might be important for the school committee. One of the questions that we've had for the banners was, in the spring, we were asked prior by vendors if we could move the banners to the softball field. Because there's some fencing up there, and then even onto the middle school breaks up high. So we were asked before, because we only play on the field in the fall. Once football's over, that field there's no really athletic events going on. So some of the vendors would ask if we could move it, because the girls play right behind the school there, up on the fence, different sections behind the fence, and even the backstop, there's a lot of fencing around the softball field. So that was the question.
Here, they're gonna put it up
When
in
we started to decide that. And then the other thing was, one of the questions that I wanted to implement for the fireworks, I'm sad he left, was, could we have, one of the things we thought last year was a lot of outside vendors came in to make money at our school. I thought that one of the things we could do is maybe have our booster club do the concession stand, make some money for the booster club. Maybe some of our kids in their classes could sell some things, because it's our,
I do know, I actually got to Miss Thompson and Miss Iwazinski, the breakdown of like food vendors and stuff, and I think Julie also has a copy, she could probably share it, but yeah, like I
I just
would.
thought that it's on our campus, I'm not saying.
I think
Yeah.
that's being used by the Knights of Columbus this year. That was their plan, but definitely, we
For
should,
future
Yeah,
questions we could
100%.
for the
have.
future,
It
definitely,
would benefit our kids,
definitely.
you know?
Yeah, last year we ran the concession stand through athletics, and did hot dogs and hamburgers and soda on the field.
If you can have it Friday, you know, the stuff people love.
Right.
Yeah,
Some of our. some
So are
of
you
our-
doing that again
like
this year?
Stuco or some of our work would be-
100%.
That's a question, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Probably too late for this year, but definitely,
Yeah, face painting and our art society, honor
Well,
society stuff.
they
What
could
he's saying is
still
he did it
do it,
last
it's
year.
just the building's committed to the Knights of
oh, I
Columbus, I
see what you're
guess.
saying.
It's a question we can ask, you know, I
Yeah.
mean, if we can do something, our kids get involved in the community, paint faces, like Ms. Thompson said, and let them get some money for our honor society, I mean, that's a home run for our kids, and it would benefit our kids.
I'm not looking to rip everybody off, but if we're gonna move a banner from the football field to the softball field, the baseball field, then that should reflect in an additional
I
charge.
agree, that's what I was.
Because
thinking.
they're getting, it's not just going up once and then it comes down for a winter.
Does soccer play there in the spring? On the football field?
Soccer plays on the football field.
So it's soccer and football.
But they're both.
But they're on the fall.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the spring that plays on the football field. Oh, okay.
But softball, and they're getting a new fence, right?
That's
Yes.
a temporary fence, so you can't hang things
Oh,
on
I
it.
thought that was the new fence.
No, it has to go on like a chain link fence.
No, but I thought
Backstop and they got up the
thought he
main
just said the
field.
new fence was coming in this spring.
It's like a temporary fence. It's like a,
And Palmer.
Oh, I thought it was the actual new fence.
But you have the fence from Veterans Field that faces the softball field, the backside,
yeah.
which gives you plenty of
So we could move it there.
fence space.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if they had dugouts, you could hang some on the dugouts.
They should have dugouts, huh?
They should have done that.
You mentioned,
Future meeting.
you mentioned the Don's Club. Do you know if they're, yeah, the Boosters, do you know if they're incorporated? Incorporated?
That would be a question for boosters. It's a separate organization from the school. So that would be a
We
booster
just want to
question.
check if they're incorporated. Just throwing that out there.
So,
Spring. Great.
I guess we
Thank
need a
you.
draft, which we can make sure that Dr. Coleman gets, we can send it to legal, and at some point, we will have to look at our policies and decide, so there's no conflict, so everything's consistent.
If the
And then-
draft is ready, go ahead and send it, and then we'll figure out a subcommittee and get it approved as quick as possible.
You know, it may not be ready for opening of school, but if it happens, say
Great.
before basketball season or something, then it's a plus rather than wait another
I mean,
year.
I think it's in our end, the time we spent in it, if we can just move it, I think we could have it up and running before school starts.
Okay,
You know, you guys have to approve it.
Great.
And there's
but once we see it,
I'm gonna
and,
email it to you tonight.
you know, once we see it and once we read it and look at it, and everybody gets back to us on it, then that's easy enough to do.
Please reach out.
And it can always be changed. You know, if we find that things aren't working or things need to be added, you know, come the first of the year or something, we can tweak it, and it's much easier to change than start from scratch. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, we find things that work that don't work.
I'm gonna go fill my water bottle real quick.
Okay,
Be right back.
all right, thank you. Next thing. Well, we do have to make a motion, which we will, and that way we're ready to go. Make a motion to do a public hearing on dress code and cell phone policies. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? And I know I should
Aye.
wait for Mel. Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
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 Mike? Yeah, so, do we want to do dress code, or do we want to do cell phones first? I would,
Dress code
almost.
shorter.
Dress code shorter?
Yeah.
Okay. Comments, concerns, any?
So I know all of you don't have the copy in front of you, but the blue is strongly agree or agree. Red is strongly disagree. And obviously neutral. There's a lot of agreeing that we should have a dress code that promotes a positive and productive learning environment, blah, 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 blah. Basically, this is saying we should have a dress code and we don't.
That isn't pajamas or political speech
There was a specific pajama question in here.
Yep.
Pajamas and another sleepwear do not promote a positive learning environment and should not be worn in school. That one had the least amount of strongly agrees. Oh, no, not quite. Oh, the one that had the least amount of strongly agrees was clothing expressing political views and candidates is permitted as long as it complies with other.
Even higher. That wasn't even,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, gosh, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, clothing and accessories that students wear have an impact on the individual student's learning and whatever the rest of it said. Yeah.
Here we go.
Everybody agreed that there shouldn't be profanity, violent, discriminatory messages, or symbols or words that are deemed appropriate. Everybody agreed on that. And everybody agreed almost that the principals or student counselors should be able to request special permission from the superintendent to deviate from the dress code, i.e. hat days, pajama days. Like, those can still happen, everyone, just not every day. Because when every day's pajama day's not special anymore. And everybody agreed the enforcement of the dress code policy should be direct but not embarrass students or staff. And that the enforcement of the dress code policy should be consistent and applied equitably without targeting certain groups. That's important. So we need a dress code.
So we need to create a whole policy on this, is what you're saying?
Well, pretty much all of these things could be the policy. Like everything that's in the survey could be
We do have a
the
policy, it's JICA, which is 2 small paragraphs, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like,
Basically,
we have a policy,
saying you
but
have to
it's
wear
not,
clothes.
it's
It
not.
just said, yeah, it basically says you have to wear
That's-
clothes.
that's
to
not
school.
all it says.
It doesn't specify anything else.
Yeah, it's pretty meek.
Yeah, so, I'm going to propose that we just basically take all of these questions that are in the survey, make them bulleted items, and say, here is our dress code policy.
Now, we used to have, I think I sent it out to everybody, back in 2012.
Yes, I got some of the questions for the
From
survey
there.
from that document.
Should we look at going back to that and tweaking it based on the survey to come up with a policy?
Well, you can tell that it's from 2012 because it talks about metal spikes and studs and leather. Anybody who wants to throw back to that era.
That's not coming back?
I doubt, well, I mean, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Those and hammer pants. So
What is it? Hammer pants?
MC
hammer pants.
You know, MC Hammer?
MC Hammer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, can't touch this.
Okay.
Big like parachute
Sorry.
pants. Yeah.
I listened to a lot of country
No
last time when
hammer
I was
pants.
growing up,
Yeah, they
so.
don't wear
The
hammer.
I'm okay with hammer pants. I could see in here, hammer pants are encouraged. I could say that.
Okay.
All right. All right, so what I'll do is you sent that to me, so what I'll do is I'll look at my list and I'll look at the 2012 list, make any crossover, and then I can send it to everybody and then we can vote on it.
Sounds good.
Do we have
Dress
anybody
code.
that,
Can I just ask one question?
yes?
Yes,
no,
please,
It's
do.
open to everybody, so.
So I just thought this was interesting because my daughter filled this out completely different than I filled out the survey. But there's a question about slippers. So
Yes.
there's Uggs that have a sole on them that are, I'm not sure if it will come up and if they're slippers or not.
So it specifically says bedroom slippers.
I know, but
You don't wear bedroom slippers outside.
You
So I would,
don't,
I
but I
would say
just-
if it has,
a sole?
well, I
If it
take
has
that
a
back
hard
because
sole?
I have bedroom slippers that have a sole that I would say are not appropriate for school.
I don't think Uggs fall underneath the
I don't
category
think
of
Uggs are
bedroom
slippers.
at all.
I-
I think they
okay.
definitely fall
I
into
just
a
wanted
category of
to,
shoe.
you know, because it'll come up. It'll come up with the high school girls,
Yeah.
I just know. But,
They seem like
Does
shoes.
Uggs make slippers?
well, they're like fleece lined. They look like slippers, but again, they have a sole on them. So
I will research Uggs and I will,
I'm just, you know,
no, that's great,
because children are raised to affect with us about all kinds of things. So-
great,
It's good that they care.
yeah.
I just had a question with the document. Will there be consequences, like what happens if you break the rules? Because it seems like nowadays, we can come up with all the rules, but there's no follow-through with the consequences to breaking the rules. So I think that needs to be part of the discussion of what happens when,
Love that.
because it's going to.
Yep,
Well, the last sentence in the old policy, failure to comply with this policy will require the student to change clothing, including potentially being sent home to do so. Please refer to the student discipline policy regarding discipline for repetitive offenses, insubordination, or refusal to change clothing. So,
okay.
All right.
and I think there's something in there about,
And what was the outcome for the pajamas? In favor or not?
So the.
'Cause I think there is a
pajama-
big difference. I mean, as a parent, my daughter loves her flannel bottoms.
I mean, I don't know if you can see this here.
compared to
but
a onesie,
Gotcha.
you know,
So, like,
so.
The dark red is strongly disagree. So the statement is pajamas and other sleepwear do not promote a positive learning environment, should not be worn in school.
Right.
Like, that's what it says. So the red here is the strongly disagree, the orange is the disagree, the gray is they don't care, the light blue is agree, and the dark blue is strongly agree. So
Yeah.
the strongly agree is prominent. I'm guessing.
I'm totally in favor
I
of a
think
dress
this is-
code. I mean, I'm just thinking as a parent, the, flannel bottoms from Old Navy that ton of the tweens love to wear.
Right, they can't wear those anymore.
So they can't wear flannel pants, they can't wear.
No.
So who determines
Now, what about like if they're going to like a
levels
basketball
these
game,
things
because they're
are?
encouraged to wear those over their shorts to a basketball game? Like-
Fine, they can wear them to a basketball
Okay,
game.
I just didn't know, like,
No,
no, at the school.
In a learning environment. Yeah,
All right. Uh-oh.
yeah, no more flannel pants.
And I'll have them post online, both surveys,
Great.
so people can get a better look at it. But
So I think I included it with my response, but one of the questions talked about hoodies and headgear and sunglasses on campus.
Yes.
And I think, so, does that really include the outdoor spaces as well, or are we really talking about classrooms?
I think this is pretty clear that it's like in the school, like in the learning environment.
So again, my
You can wear a
concern
hoodie on the
was-
bus, you can wear a hoodie if you walk to school.
Okay, my concern was with that word on campus and
Where
not
did it say on campus?
in classrooms.
They should be allowed to wear them to go into a Friday night football game, like, that's on campus, they should be allowed to
Right,
wear
I'm
those
just,
things.
I'm just saying.
All right, if it says that, I will change it.
Yeah, that
I
was
will
my
change
only
it to
concern
in
because
class.
in my mind,
in
it was
class or
clear.
during a learning environment?
Yeah, in class or in a learning
Right,
environment,
In
yeah.
my mind, it was clear that that's what the
During
intent
school
was,
hours?
but that's not how I read it, so I just
School
wanted
is
to bring
in
that.
session,
Got it.
Yeah, do we want to include that too? When school's in session?
when school is in session, seemingly, you know what I mean?
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Ms. Thompson.
I just want to point out, I know the flannel pant, I understand, I know how I answered that survey. Was the flip-flop question on there as well?
Yes.
Okay, so here are my two comments to each. For some families, flannel bottoms are cheaper than, are more cost-effective than a pair of jeans. Flip-flops, we know at Old Navy can be 50 cents, and if you've got a large family and a limited budget, I think we have to think about our customers a little bit. I don't have a problem with flannel pants as long as they are intact and on your body and not hanging down, below your bum. So I'm just throwing that in there, that I think flannel bottoms can be worn and they look like an outfit, and then they can also be made to look like you just rolled out of bed. So I'm just throwing that out, that for some families, it's a more cost-effective option.
Well, let me put it this way, and don't laugh. Is there a difference between pajama pants and flannel bottoms?
No.
Yes.
Yes?
Okay,
But they're considered pajamas, they're sold as pajama section.
They're pajamas.
Well, you could be wearing a onesie, you could be wearing like the like flannel ones like around Christmas time that have like big Disney characters all over them, and those are a different type of, those are more of a fleece than a flannel. And those are more challenging to make look more like an outfit. Now, the ones that you have that are like the plaid ones, we have them like that we sell at Walgreens that say WARE on them. Those you can, those, yeah, you want to go to a basketball game, you want to go to a football game, you are dressed in color. You're in green and white because you're wearing your green and white pant. So am I saying it's professional? No, I'm not. But I agree 100%. We've got kids that don't have homes that they're living in. We have kids that are bouncing around from house to house, especially at the high school. So I would much rather have a kid come to school in whatever they're wearing than not come to school at all. The option of making the kid go home because of what they're wearing, some kids want to go home. Some kids will wear it just for that reason, so that they can go home. We have some kids, the bigger fish to fry, I feel, in the high school and the junior high especially, are the sports bras. Because you can talk to a kid and they are wearing nothing to here. And it's really hard to have them at a desk and make eye contact with them with this all out. And that's from a female teacher who's been married for 20-something years, okay? Like, I have a daughter. I am aware of this. That's more of the challenging problem. The kids that walk in with the shorts that their butt cheeks are hanging out. Like, I wouldn't even let my daughter wear that to the beach. Like, that sort of thing, I think, is where we need to start. I think that when we come in with the hammer, coming at people saying you can't wear the, the flannel pants, you can't wear the sweatpants to school. I understand we want it to be more professional, we want it, and we can get it there, we can tweak it, but I think we're gonna get, I want the kid in front of me, and I want to be able to teach them more than worrying about what they're wearing.
Right, and I think the point is, yes, there should be a dress code. I think the other language was, it was the parent and student's prerogative, they got to decide. But I agree, walking around, when I have 10 and 11-year-olds walking around in a sports bra, sometimes I have been known to say, sorry, moms and dads, your shirt should touch the top of your pants minimally. They have other things to worry about than their body image right now. We are here to learn. So I would agree, flannel bottoms, thank you, are the lesser fish to fry, but more appropriate clothing, right? So that you're covered up more. I don't know, it's fine.
I know at Quaybog, a while back, they had the 3 B's rule. Cover your boobs, your belly, and your butt. Those 3 things need to be covered appropriately.
Right, but the reason that a lot of those policies went away is because they were targeting girls only.
Correct.
And that is what I do not want. I do not want 100 kids walking down the hallway and all of the ones getting pulled aside are girls. I don't want that.
I do agree with you, 100%. I 100% agree with you. I'm just saying that putting a hard, fast rule on what some of these families can't afford that. I know because I'm buying stuff for families.
Well,
And I think that's the provision to allow the administrators, the ability to deviate from this policy.
Yeah, but then you put them in the middle.
Yeah, you put them in the middle.
They
Well,
do it for Sally, but they don't do it for John. Or
we
they
have
do
the
it
same
for
issue.
John and they
We have
don't
the
do
same
it for
issue in
Sam.
Springfield, right? We have a uniform policy. Kids are supposed to wear a uniform to school. And when I started working in my school, we had a different principal, and she was hard and fast with the uniform rules. She was calling families picking their kids up. She was sending kids home. And then we had a new principal, and she's like, "Look, I'd rather have them in school in regular clothes than not in." And then the excuse of, "Oh, we didn't," because a lot of kids don't have laundry in their house. Like, we didn't make it to the laundromat. Like, I get it. I completely get it. This is based off of, we can't have a strong and rigorous learning environment when more than half the kids are wearing clothes that do not require them to be serious about where they are. And that's where this is coming from. I am not trying to make families spend more money on clothing. I am not trying to do any of that. I am just trying to say that we are a serious institution of learning. And when you walk up and down the hallways and kids have blankets wrapped around them and they're wearing slippers and pajamas and they have giant headphones on their head, like, this is not a learning environment. This is a place where you come to exist. So we need to find a balance between the two, because I'm completely hearing what you're saying. But we have to have some kind of baseline where we say, like, if you showed up to a regular job wearing this, like, it would not be acceptable. I'm not saying you got to be working at Goldman and Sachs. Like, if you showed up to work at Walgreens wearing pajama pants, they would tell you to go home.
And I appreciate that, I think, and Scott, don't take this the wrong way, but I think we're seeing that more in our older students.
Yes.
Right? There are not, I can say
I observed it
confidently
personally.
at the middle school, hats are off and away when they walk in. Cell phones are off and away when they walk in. We don't have hoods, or it's not expected that kids will have, and they understand from day one. They don't wear hoods. They can wear hoodies. Their hoods stay down.
Right.
Right? We're all hard and fast in the building. I don't have kids with blankets. I'm not sure about SMK, but I'm pretty sure there's no, that same policy is happening. I don't think you have a lot of cell phone there.
Right.
So maybe, is there a possibility of having, instead of one general, a little bit of deviation given the age of the student?
I am
or the
totally fine
building?
with that, because obviously if a 10th grader is wearing pajamas to school and if a first grader is wearing pajamas to school, they're wearing them for very different reasons. So
They might
I
not
am,
be.
Okay.
I am totally fine with that.
They may not be, though. They might be from the same family, and therefore, they're in the same situation. I'm just saying.
Couple questions on this?
Yeah.
And some comments. Like, one, are we saying that hoodies are not allowed in class?
No,
No.
hood's up.
So
You can wear the hoodie, but you can't have the hood up.
Okay.
No hoods.
Okay. And then on this PJ thing, pajamas thing, like, who determines what a pajama is? I mean,
I think that's the
That's
question.
that's
right?
what makes dress so hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
because one of my kids wears like a full, outfit, and another one wears gym shorts and a t-shirt, but that would be allowed to be worn.
Correct.
Right? Is there any data that says that kids wearing PJs in class are not learning?
It's not so much PJs specifically. It's more of like schools that have dress codes that are enforced
Yeah.
overall have better performance than schools that don't.
Yeah, but is that just correlation to, I mean, like, is that directly to, because of the dress code, or could there be other things that
Oh,
contribute to that?
definitely there could be other things.
Right, so, I don't know, as long as the clothes are not profane, they're worn correctly, they are safe as far as the shoes, like bedroom slippers are not safe to walk around, they wouldn't be allowed walking around anywhere you're working. And I know you said something about, if you were working at, you go to Walgreens and you get, they would send you home if you were wearing BJs, but these kids aren't working. This is school.
They kind of are.
Well, it's different. It's way different. I mean, they're going through a lot of stuff, right? They've got to learn. I mean, I just think that as long as the clothes are, like I said, safe, they're not profane, they're worn correctly, covering up parts that should not be shown, per decency rules. And I know that kind of targets women, and I don't think that's particularly fair, but I mean, I wouldn't allow a male student wear a midriff, but that's not really the style either,
Right.
right? So, I mean, like, how do you not target females?
By not bringing morality into it. If you don't mention, like, expose, like what I tried to keep morality completely out of this, because your morality is different than mine and everybody else's in this room. So if you take the morality out of it, then that issue is not there.
So what's the morality?
There's nothing in here about covering your body.
So
Nothing.
saying like the sports bra thing, that wouldn't.
That is not addressed here. If
Right,
that's
so-
something
so
that
that would be
teachers
okay?
feel like are important, this
But-
is not the end of it. Like,
Right.
If there's something that teachers can come up with that says that sports bras are not allowed to be worn independently,
Mm-hmm.
then we could look at that and try to figure that out. I'm not opposed to it.
Right.
I purposely did not put that in here because morality is something that you can't compare with anyone else.
Right. Okay.
Well, I think there is a morality that's going on here, and the morality is that it's not good to be pursuing academic excellence. There's some kids that go to school, they're not there because they're there, they're born, they reach a certain age, they're required by law to be at school, and they're just hanging out. They don't even know why they're there. There are kids that, like you said, that are kids that are moving, that live in like foster homes, or they're going from family to family. They're being told they got to go to school. So there, even though it's not your traditional morality, there is a morality that's going on, and there has to be. We have to agree as an institution what our standards are. I mean, we can't call it morality, but they have to be our standards. So, but quite frankly, I'm not. If you looked at our graduating class and several graduating classes prior to that, you would see that there are students that are in the top academic tier, so to speak, that would have been already in violation of some of these policies. So they're not here to some of them have graduated, et cetera. So I've never been a big. I think there's a judgment call that's going to be required. It's going to be common decency, and call it not morality or not, but there's got to be a certain decency, and it shouldn't be targeting a particular gender. I don't think some of these are intentionally, I mean, if you have a code that applies to, you know, traditional females, are we trying to attack that gender? I don't think so. I think there are just certain things due to the nature of the dress that we're trying to address here. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I mean, I hear both sides. I mean, I went to a school where everybody wore uniforms, so, and I went to an all-boys school in high school too. So if you want to institute a uniform, then it's a lot easier, but it's also costs more money if you're going to have folks buy it. But other than that, I mean, it's going to be a hard. I would like to know what the other schools do, I guess. High-performing schools, low-performing schools. What do they have for policies? And I would start there. I mean, I'm behind. You know, wearing. You don't want to go to school being distracted by unusual dress. You know, teachers don't want it. Some students that are serious don't want it. So it makes sense to have a standard of how we want to dress. You know, for lack of a better word, common decency. Like you don't go work in corporate America dressed like this. So, but I don't know if they really say anything explicit. And these are adults. So those are my thoughts.
I think we also have to consider economics.
We definitely have to consider economics. And I mean, to everybody's point about the sports bras and stuff, when I was doing research for this, I found dress codes that literally had diagrams. Like, this is a shirt. You must wear a shirt that matches one of these descriptions. These are pants. These are shorts. These are shoes. Like, there were literally diagrams. And if you're not wearing something that matches one of these diagrams, you are in violation of the policy. And I don't know if we want to go that far, but this that I wrote up is very much about the individual. It's not and how they feel like when they're coming into school as a productive and positive learning environment. Not, I just rolled out of bed, slept on the bus, wandered into school, and then sat in the library and looked at my phone for 3 hours. Like, that's what we're trying to get away from.
Like a style? Like, I mean, that's the only explanation I have. Like, I personally think I would never wear pajama pants. I don't think my kids would. I don't like the style, but I mean, isn't it just
Everybody
a style?
goes to the supermarket or Walmart with them, whether they're adults or kids, so.
And is it a
it's out
style,
there.
or are they literally rolling out of bed? Because I think, unless we know that, maybe, and then we use the word flannel. I mean, what if you had a set of flannel pants that were straight leg, solid blue, or maybe not a whole? Would you be able to tell the difference? So, like, to codify that and say flannels, it's going to cause some problems. So it's another thing we have to think about in whatever policy. I mean, you could certainly test it out and see where the chips fall.
Sorry, did you want to say anything else?
I don't think so. I think I'm good. Thank you.
All right, so I'm just going to say it again. I totally agree that we need to have an environment that the children can, and the students, oh God, I can't articulate right now. I've read research that shows what you wear to school does impact your learning. So I definitely do agree that the more professional we can be and the students can be, the better that they will be as learners. I think we need to start smaller and like focus on a few things. We definitely need a dress code. Like I said, the flannels, I have no issue with that with my daughter. However, if you say there's going to be no, don't wear them, my daughter will not wear them because I will follow the rules.
Right.
My concern, again, going back to consequences, when she comes home and says, how come I can't, but they can, and they didn't get in trouble?
Yeah.
So that needs to be that needs to be the discussion. What, we really need to focus on that too. Like, what do we do when? But I think we should just focus a little bit, maybe smaller. Start off with a few top, dress codes and see if we can actually implement them and enforce them, and then go from there. So, because if we're not going to enforce them, you're doing a lot of work for nothing.
Agreed.
And if you're going to do the work, it needs to be followed through.
And it's the teachers that are going to enforce them too, so they need to be.
Consistency, right, from every educator, every adult in a building has to be consistent with that policy.
Tell me about it. You walk from fifth grade classroom to fifth grade classroom in my school, and in one classroom, everybody's got their hoods up, nobody's wearing shoes, like it's a free-for-all. And you go in the next classroom, nobody has their hoods on, and guess which classroom has the better data? I'll tell you which one.
And that should be addressed, I think, as a part of policy, training, so to speak. So if you don't have like leadership to make that happen, it's going to be, that's why you have that, in my opinion. How can you have two separate classes with two different teachers, educators, with totally two different sets of expectations? It's either a training issue, one teacher, you know, I mean, let's face it, it's a conflict to walk up to a kid, you know, especially an older one, and say, you're not dressed appropriate, and that takes a certain skill. You know, so it'd be great to have it in policy, but that would just be like on paper. Like we have to, isn't enforcement the whole issue? Right?
Yeah.
So.
I just have a couple quick questions. You said sweatpants. Are they not
No,
allowed?
Just pajama pants.
Just pajama
Sweatpants
pants
are not listed.
Okay. And I did agree with Frank when I did read that survey. I did it myself, and then I asked a few of my friends, and they also said the same thing about saying, I think, in the school day, but like
Yeah.
going to activities after school, going to a basketball game at night. They could wear hats. They can wear, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just think it's, you know, take them off when we do the,
Yeah, I'll make it clear,
you
like,
know,
when
before the
school is
game,
in
but, you
session.
know,
Yeah.
absolutely. My other question to you is, when you're writing this policy and you say no hats, no do-rags, no all of that, are we taking consideration cat ears and people that dress and think they're animals in our school? Because I think that's a huge distraction. I don't mind someone wearing a hat. I mean, I mind someone wearing a hat. I grew up where you didn't wear a hat in the building. But is this fall underneath the same thing? Because that, to me, is a bigger distraction. My daughter comes home and says, Mom, we had a cat in our class today. She wears ears, she wears a tail, she wears that. I think that's more of a distraction.
Yeah, we can definitely put
So
something in here
where do
about
we go
costumes.
from here?
That's a Title VI issue
definitely
too,
gonna
that
be a
needs to be run through.
But I think we should look really into that, too.
Well, we
if
can
we're-
just,
Because, I
we
mean,
can
if you
do
can't wear a
research about
do-rag and you're going to
policy
let someone
about
wear a hat, I mean,
costumes.
ears on their heads,
Costumes, yeah.
we're kind of saying the same thing. So, just so you can look into that.
yeah,
But unfortunately, to your point, does that become a violation of Title VI? And
Wearing
with that particular
costumes?
student, correct.
They don't.
They're
they
wearing
don't
the
present it
tail
as
and the
costumes, or they present it as
Right.
their,
persona.
They
or-
identify as such.
Right.
but it's all.
I have a big, long thing to say about that, but
Yeah,
it's, go ahead.
Am I allowed to speak now?
Sure.
Yes.
Is that really happening? I have not really, there is kids here who thinks they're cats, who identify as cats.
I've never seen the
No.
tail, but I've seen the
Yeah,
rest
but
of
that's
it.
a style thing.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
it's,
there's.
it's more of a
said,
cosplay thing than like
But-
an identity thing.
Yeah, but
Like,
whatever.
it's kind of an urban legend that kids are coming to school saying they identify, that's kind
Yeah.
of an urban legend. That's not something that has been identified at scale of actually happening. That's something that's more of a rumor or an urban legend. However, cosplay is huge.
Right.
And there are some kids that come to school as like cosplay
cosplay.
characters.
So that would not
That
be
would
allowed.
definitely be classified as a costume. If a
And-
parent really wants to come in here and declare Title VI and say, my child is a puppy, then we will have that conversation.
Is it
Yeah,
Title VI?
yeah.
Because that's about your
Or Title
identity.
IX?
Just to clarify, though, that has happened to us in the past, in,
Okay.
in true legality. That's
And do we
really
need,
happened.
do we need the parents to do that?
If the kid's under 18, yeah.
I guess that could be debatable, but.
Anyway, we can definitely look into, I can do
So-
some research on what people have said about costumes. I can totally do that.
Okay, because costumes would be distracting. And
Costumes
probably
would be
not safe,
distracting,
but I don't
correct.
think style like a tail. I don't know, but
No,
nobody's
cosplay is definitely a thing, so,
yeah.
I mean.
No, I know that, but I don't think anybody's actually think they're a cat or identify as a cat.
I think it's very rare, yes.
I just wanted to say one thing about the survey, and I really wanted to agree with the teacher that spoke over there. I don't, doesn't matter to me how anyone presents as male, female, or anything. I think the whole part of covering from a certain body part to a certain body part should just be the basic necessity. I think us picking and choosing which clothes, other than the things that are obviously violent or profanity, any stuff like that, obviously not, but like, defining like which piece of clothing that each kid can wear or each student can wear to school every day is going to become a serious battle in my eyes. I think if we focus on what's actually should be covered for their bodily, portions of showing their skin, I think that should be one of the first and foremost concerns of this whole dress code policy.
And what's not offensive?
See, and for me,
And what's not offensive?
For me,
like-
that dances
No, I
on the edge
understand
of
this. I
imposing
understand the
our
offensive
morality on someone else.
Well, it could apply to both
Because you're
males
talking
and
Applies to
females.
all bodily people that come into the school. It's not male or female or anything
Right, but the
else.
boys aren't coming to school.
I'm sure there's
Okay, but the
some
boys are
people
to
coming in
school
with their
in
pants down
yeah,
off
they
their
were-
rear
I mean,
ends.
can I tell you how many butt cracks I have to see in a day?
Yes.
I don't want to have to see that.
It's
Like,
not.
can I tell you how many kids have told them, hey, so-and-so, pull your shirt down, pull your pants up? These are kids telling
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
So it's not just a female thing, because I heard that more than I did
What about tank tops? Guys wear tank tops that are like,
guys wearing tank tops.
that are like really loose and you can see,
Well, some kids have
Please.
cut their sleeves off and cut down
Yeah.
their sides.
Yeah,
Those
you
wouldn't be allowed.
You can see boobs, male boobs.
Yeah, they cut those shirts.
Yeah, so I don't think it's just a gender issue.
Agreed.
I mean,
And the tank tops they used to have the tank tops for kids used to not be able to be spaghetti strap and stuff. They used to have to be a regular band.
Two tops or anything.
They couldn't be, right.
I totally get
Yeah, I agree. I think that's crazy.
but it's a big
Correct. Your body part, no matter who you are, who you identify as, should be covered from one area to another.
Your bathing suit part should be covered.
I agree.
Mr. Slav.
But the bikini is a bathing suit. Like, I'm just saying that we are
Right, but I don't wanna see a guy's
reverting,
boobs either.
but we are reverting back to the times of 30 and 40 years ago where there's this overarching morality that everybody's supposed to comply to because it's like it's the norm, it's the general norm.
No, that's not
So,
it.
That's not it.
but we are though, because because
Well,
you're
how come
talking, you haven't
administrators don't
said
wear-
the word
don't wear
modesty, but you're
ties
talking
anymore?
about modesty.
No
And
offense.
modesty
About
is tied to
appropriateness.
morality. So you can't dance on this line and say that you're not trying to tell someone about modesty, and in doing so, telling them about morality. So that's why it wasn't in here. It's because I'm not going to tell anybody else what is moral, what is modest. That is not my job, other than me and my kids. So that's why it's not in here. If that is what is important to this district, and we hear those voices come forward, I am happy to put it in here. But that was a complete side road that I just put up a sign and said, I am not going down that road. So if you decide as a community and as a school that that is what is important, then I am happy to entertain it. But I purposely did not put it in here for those reasons.
I think it could be a modesty issue, but I don't think it necessarily needs to be construed as such, because you can make an argument that it's strictly about, you can talk about, lack of concentration,
Right, but then you're saying like that this girl that's wearing a sports bra is responsible for this boy's.
No, it could be another boy. I mean.
It
just
doesn't
its gender-
matter. It doesn't matter. If you're saying that the way this person is distracting because of a modesty or morality issue, you're saying that she is responsible for the thoughts and feelings of everybody else in that room, and she's
So where
not.
does the pajama pants
So
kick
we're
in?
gonna send kids
So
home for wearing a pair of flannel pants so they don't learn anything in that time that they get sent home for wearing flannel pants.
I
But
didn't say to
somebody
send
comes
them
in
home.
in a
What is it,
crop top
okay,
or
if it's not a
pants
moral
hanging down.
issue, what is the rationale behind pajama pants?
It's a professionalism thing, and professionalism can be
Professionalism is a
measured
relative
in
term. I mean, there used to be a
It's not.
time when all the
It's
teachers
not.
used to wear
Professionalism
ties
is-
and
professionalism
button-down
is-
shirts.
professionalism is not a
Look how the
relative
school
term.
committee dresses. I mean.
No.
No, it's a relative,
we
are
don't-
we professional?
We are not.
We're not?
In this capacity, we are not.
Okay, our
We
teachers
are
professionals.
volunteers. Teachers are professionals.
So what do teachers wear in classes when they're in front of these students? They may not be wearing pajama pants, but.
Right,
are they
they're
wearing-
not.
What are they wearing? Are they wearing ties and button-down shirts? Are they wearing sweatpants?
They're
Are they
wearing whatever their
tighty-tight jeans?
administrator-
Or what are they wearing? I
They're
mean,
wearing whatever their administration has deemed professional for that learning environment. So overall, like elementary school teachers wear way more casual clothes than than upper school teachers, because elementary school teachers are on the floor, they're out of recess, they're cleaning up lunch spills, but then as you move up into the upper echelons of education, you typically find that as you move up, those teachers are wearing
Are you talking
less
about
casual
college?
clothing. No, I'm talking about like middle school, high school. It gets a little less casual. And then as you get into college and things like that, obviously it's a little bit different.
It's a lot different.
But
It's everything that we're saying it should be. If
whatever
you go to
the
college, you can wear
leadership-
whatever you want. Freedom of expression. You can wear pajama pants if you want, you can wear.
I'm talking about teachers. You talked about teachers.
Well,
You're not going to have a professor walk in to teach economics in their pajamas.
I know, but you can't have a
If you do,
dress
you walk
code that
out.
just applies to the students. It has to be kind of, we're all in a dress code. So I'm just saying this for the sake of argument, and I'm just saying also that it's not an easy fix. And I think if we throw up the morality, if we say that this is a moral issue and it's not fair, I don't think that's necessarily the case. I don't think anybody here is throwing a moral issue. They're just, fairness is a moral issue, or maybe it's not. I don't know. I think we take that word out of the equation. You took it out of your numbers, so let's not throw it here and kind of say that it's a moral issue. We're talking about professionalism. That word itself, I don't know if that fits a school environment for kids. Maybe professionalism to me goes more towards the teachers. But if you're saying that we want to foster academic excellence, I would go to the other gentleman's questions. I would say let's see what other schools are doing, because if we want to be amoral and we want to make sure that we're following state standards or data that says we have students that are excelling in at Long Meadow or these other places where what's their dress code like? We should compare it. We're going to make these guys do a sports handbook, and we're telling them to look at others. So I would say that would be one thing that would be a good set of information to do. We got our internal thoughts here, which is great, but let's kind of spread out and say what other schools are doing, and I think that will kind of shed some light.
Did we have, I'm so sorry, Ms. Thompson.
Nope, that's okay.
Did we have a breakdown of like how many students did the survey and how many adults? No?
Mike might have that information. I don't have it.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to add, as you were talking about teachers and professionalism, in our current teacher's contract, there is not a dress code. We can't say to a teacher, we can strongly encourage that we look professional, but there's nothing that says you can't wear yoga pants to school or, your cut-off shorts. So.
Yoga pants, that's a great
yeah.
concept. /imaging.
Anyway, I'm just pointing out also, in our current contracts, we don't have a dress code for staff.
Hasn't been there for a while.
We really sit on the fence when I stand and say, we're professionals, we're representing the school, we're representing the district. Please dress as professionally as possible. But I can't go up to someone and say, hey, that doesn't look great today.
You weren't the principal at the time, but I went to an IEP meeting in the middle school, and the teacher had flip-flops, shorts, a tank top, and wore sunglasses during the whole meeting. In a classroom with a conference room with no windows.
Is that really a negotiated thing?
It's
Dress code?
Yeah, it would be.
So if it's not in the contract,
It's tough to
like,
enforce.
you can't enforce it.
Yeah.
Our
We can
interim is
set a
going to help
policy
with
on
that.
how we expect our.
For the most
No,
part,
it's all
honestly,
negotiated.
most of our staff dresses appropriately. Every now and again, you're like,
Same thing in
it's
Springfield.
questionable, but
They had a dress code and they took it
I
out.
think everyone takes this, is respectful of their job and wants to present
And if
themselves
that
well.
teacher is going to tell some student to wear a particular dress code, there's going to be like some
They're
cognitive
going to tell them
dissonance.
not to wear open-toed shoes, and they got flip-flops on.
Exactly, so you got to think about that too.
All right.
I guess I'm looking at it in the sense that things like pajama pants, given the economics, I can sort of concede on that one. Definitely hoodies, hats, clothing with language or designs that are offensive blueprint. I'm not, I don't want any of that. Whether you want to call it modest or not, as far as, and I know it would apply probably more to females than males, but to the point Scott brought up about males cutting their tank tops or their shirts and that's probably to start with where we should go. That's my opinion. Because it took a while for me to think about it, but when the teacher brought up about that's all some kids can afford, it's true. It's true, because
What's wrong with wearing hats? Like,
having
I
done
guess I'm trying to
foster care,
understand that,
it's like, they get used to be $253 every 3 months. And we never looked at it that way. We spent tons of money.
Some people have to.
But some people have to.
And some kids don't even get that.
Some kids don't even get that. That's true. So,
In talking to Ms. Thompson, who, obviously, two of us will be enforcing this, we asked that you guys be detailed, like, but just saying no pajama pants is too vague. I mean, I think there's, below the navel, there's those pajamas that have the one button. Maybe say no pajama pants with the one button below the navel, so it's detailed so we can enforce it. The other thing is, I do agree with Ms. Bateman, those shoes are worn everywhere, those slip-on Uggs. But I did do some research on this stuff. A few districts said that shoes had to be like no open toes and had to cover the heel. And they validated it by saying if there was an emergency or an evacuation, we wanted kids in footwear where they could move quickly. So saying no slippers is throwing us administrators, that's going to be tough, because Uggs could be, with the big heel, could be worn out in the winter, where I'm going to get a student that can't afford the Uggs say, what's the difference between what I'm wearing and what she's wearing? And that'll just save us some time if we can just be a little more detailed. But by saying shoes have to cover toes and cover the heel, or must have a.
I think you bring up a very, very important point about, evacuation and safety,
Right.
and if people need to evacuate the building in an orderly fashion. And,
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to tell
absolutely.
parents, this is why they can't wear those shoes anymore. That's a valid reason.
What about, like, you're an administrator, I just for my own edification, hats and hoodies in class, what is the?
So we don't allow, we allow them to wear hoodies, they're not allowed to wear hoods for identification issues, because the cameras, we have to see them on the cameras if there's something that, or if they're doing something that they're not supposed to be doing.
In class, or you mean like? in
No,
the
they shouldn't be
hallways?
wearing hoods anywhere.
So.
They can
so
wear
if
the
you're not in
hoodies.
class and you're roaming the hallways, identification, I can understand that,
Yeah.
but like, in class, it's a cold day. and
No, they pull
want-
their hoods over and they'll
they
put in
want- and they're
earbuds
saying,
that they
"Hey, I'm
hide.
listening,"
Yeah.
I don't like to see my, like, what's the
Yeah.
reason? I mean,
They disengage.
They disengage and probably 95% of the time, they're putting in the earbuds, covering it with their hood.
So it's the
And
earbuds,
that-
it's not the hoodie.
In that case, yeah.
Well, no, but when they are in the hallways and they're walking from one class to
The
another.
hallways I get, but I'm
something
saying in
happens,
class, it's
bathrooms.
cold, a kid wants to put on his hoodie because, I don't know.
I think they're
maybe-
disengaging, Mr.
That's-
Swaby. I think it's all about
That's
engagement.
not, I don't think that's really.
When they got the hood on in
Okay.
class, they're not engaged.
What about
And-
hats?
And the teachers could speak to that as well. I don't
Baseball
think that-
caps, what about baseball caps? I never got that part either.
Baseball caps were allowed. I don't think.
It used
a
to not be
baseball cap-
allowed, then it was allowed, because I remember,
So when I spoke
wouldn't
to
wear
some
mine
of
in
the
here.
faculty here,
What's that?
we had the dress code and everything was kind of enforced up until 2020, till COVID. And in order to get the kids back, because a lot of kids had the social emotional, they didn't want to come to school, they were nervous. So basically, I believe the district said, we don't care what you wear, just come back. We want you back. We want you to learn, get back into the school. Now, 5 years later, now it's time to get back to business.
So I know, like, military schools, that you're not allowed to wear hats anywhere indoor, and that's because it's either protocol or sign of respect.
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
really
hats
know.
are fairly new in high school. I think Mr. Rich allowed it 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Mr. Rich.
So what's
Well,
the?
and a lot of that was medical. Like, I know, I personally bring in a note every year from a prescription pad from my doctor that says, please allow
For
Lynn Rudy
migraines.
to wear a baseball cap when she has a migraine. Because if I have a migraine, I can take my medication, and if I have a hat that'll block out these fluorescent lights, and I have that tightness around my head, I can come in and I can teach, and I can be productive that day. If I don't have that hat to block that from me and to give me that support, I'm in bed.
Yeah.
I can't be in here.
I mean,
Otherwise, I'm gonna be running to the
yeah.
bathroom, throwing up, I'm gonna be nauseous.
I can-
and
I can
can't do it.
understand,
So there are
yeah.
plenty of kids, that struggle with the same thing. I'll walk in, I'll turn the lights on, and I've got half the class that says, can we turn the lights off? Please, miss, can I keep the lights off? Like, if it's a rainy day, the weather is crazy, it's triggering migraines. And I have kids going, I can't today. But I have other kids that deserve to have lights on. They want lights, they work well with lights. So the fact of them allowing that hat sometimes is the difference of me getting work out of them versus me not
Yeah.
getting work out of them.
I can understand why a person wants a hat. I can't understand why an administrator or school doesn't want the person to wear a hat. I'm just trying to understand that.
But for that reason, it's a medical reason.
If a kid came in with a medical note, we would allow it.
Right,
Yeah.
but why don't we
Right.
why don't we want hats? Disrespectful, disengaged, unprofessional, what's the reason?
It probably is
I wear hats all the
disrespect.
time.
I
What's
mean,
that?
I grew
It
up where
probably
we
is
went to school.
disrespectful,
Just
traditional.
said
That's a
you couldn't wear
morality
hats
issue.
in the
We didn't
building.
wear hats, yeah.
It's a morality
They weren't
issue.
allowed in the buildings. And when Dr. Beach was here, she would come in and,
No, just talking about morality too, like taking that out. That you, one person letting them wear a hat and one person not letting them wear a hat, it's how you were raised, how you're brought up, what you think is right or wrong.
Right.
Is either one right or wrong? No, it's how, so.
I mean, there are certain cultures, a hat is where it's all about. That's your status, whatever. And then you're going to go to a school that's another culture, maybe a white culture, and says you can't take, or whatever, African-American culture. So I guess I just want to understand
I
that.
believe those are religions, not,
Religions?
or certain
They're religious
religions that wear.
headgear.
Well, yeah,
Head-
headgear
headgear.
is certain religions, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
I'm not talking about that.
you don't
I'm
walk
talking
into
about
a
hats
church
back-
with a hat on.
Well,
You
yeah,
don't walk
but-
into a funeral home with a hat
Yeah,
on.
but that's a morality
I think
issue.
this is
No,
very
it's a respect. In that case, I look at that as being a respect issue, as opposed to necessarily being morale. That you go to a funeral home, you go into a church, you walk into someone's office because you're going for a job. You don't wear a baseball cap unless you're going into an interview with the Yankees or the Red Sox.
It's respect.
But it's respect.
Right?
It's
So when-
respect.
when you
And
wanna
I
hide the
think we
three
get away from
Bs,
that.
When you want to hide the 3Bs or cover up the 3Bs, you're doing it out of respect. Because if that particular individual, student, male or female, whatever, doesn't matter, doesn't consider how other people might feel, then they want to respect that. So if you want to be respectful, then don't dress in a way that could possibly be disrespectful, assuming we're saying that being respectful is not moral. I mean, I can go with that.
Yeah.
But, that's what I'm saying. It's not a black and white thing, and.
No, I
agree-
just asked the committee
it's
when
difficult.
when we get it out and we go with it. I think the administrator's detailed, concrete, so it's fair across the board for everyone. And I don't want to push you guys along, but while I'm up here with the mic,
Push.
the cell phone policy, I think for the high school, my recommendation would be right now, the policy is they can use them in the CAF or in the hallways, but I would think economically, probably a good start for us would be to get the shoe holders, and when kids entered class, they put them would have the teacher's number, 1, 2, 3, and the kid would get a number every class, and when they enter the classroom, their phones go into the holders. I think that would go for everybody in the building, and it would be easy to enforce. And I think it wouldn't be too expensive to get those, they call them elevators, I think,
So
too.
this is a change?
This would be new, if we put that, but the cell phone policy is on the table, I
They're
believe.
supposed to just
Now
keep them in
it's-
their bags and not take them out.
They're supposed to be off and away, but we know how that works.
It's an issue.
But if we get those, my recommendation is to not do the bags quite yet, but to maybe have the classrooms where the teachers have I call them elevators. I think they're actually where you used to put shoes in, hanging in maybe,
They're shoe holders.
Shoe
We
holders.
use them in elementary school to
So-
organize water
right.
bottles, headphones.
so shoe holders, that
We
would
all
be,
buy 'em.
while I'm up here.
Do you feel like that helps and it works for you?
Well, I mean, we use them for, not for
No,
cell
but
phones.
do you feel like the kids react good when you come in? They know their stuff goes in there, like it's not a problem, like they just do it, they know their stuff
It's
is
just an
there. they-
expectation. They know their water
Right.
bottle goes there, or their headphones go there. It's where they keep it. I mean, it's totally different than a cell phone issue. I mean, so they think it's cool to have their name on something that says, ooh, look, Sally's here. So,
Okay.
So,
but they're easy to, purchase.
any more on dress code?
Well, where do we go from here with this?
So I'm gonna do a little bit more research on shoes, specifically slippers / Uggs, costumes, and I'm going to look into those diagrams that I mentioned that says like, what is a shirt? What are pants? What are shorts? that are acceptable, because I feel like, to administrator's point, detail as possible is going to help them enforce this. And if it's shared with families and there's a visual there that says, like, if you're sending your kid to school and their shirt doesn't look like this or this, then it's not a shirt. So, and we'll just see how we go from there. Like, obviously, this is gonna take some back and forth conversation, and we'll figure it out.
But considering we haven't done anything since 2012, that's probably not the worst thing.
No.
To go back and forth, because it is a very touchy subject. And
I think that goes with the conversation.
we'll go from there.
Right?
Great.
Yeah. Okay, so work in progress.
Yes.
Indeed.
I'm sorry, one last thing. Is there any way, because I know that students are not involved in summertime, they're all very much out and off in the world. Is there any way of possibly when school starts, because I know we're not going to do this before the first day of school, right?
No.
So that we could give those students an opportunity when they get into school and everything is back in place for them and they're academically engaged, that they could maybe have an opportunity to look at this, because I just feel like
Sure,
a lot of.
I'll even change it, because it seems like some things were missing and some things needed
You
to be
mean, in other
changed.
words, let them do it.
I just would
Let
like
them-
to see, I just don't feel like there's a lot of student perspective here. I think that there's, I'm sorry, Scott, how many kids are in this whole entire district? Students. 1,100, and we got 239 responses. which-
And based on the data, it most likely is not from students.
Right, I
So
would just like to hear their voice.
That's a great point.
And I'd like to maybe target it quarter two.
I'm sorry, what?
We'd start at the beginning of quarter two.
Oh.
Oh,
So the kids could, and then you guys would have time to read their surveys, and they would know, and communicate that with the parents that, you know, quarter two can start because.
great.
It's not a bad idea.
And I'm sorry, one last thing, I'm so sorry, but
No.
is it possible that maybe when we do get everybody's back into place and everybody's working, that maybe there's another open forum where perhaps students who are in the school are maybe more aware that this is happening, that they could come speak, and maybe teachers, now that they're, you know, back off from summer, and maybe if there's teachers that want to throw in their input about how they feel about, because they're the ones that are going to have to be helping
Enforce it.
enforce all of this.
For sure.
I just feel like, I mean, I love that we did this because it's summertime, but I just don't feel like a lot of people are around right now.
Yeah, you make a good point.
Cell phones.
Before we get into the data, I just wanted an update on the bill that's currently going through the state legislature. This is dated July 9th of this year. The Massachusetts Senate is moving forward on a bill to ban cell phone use in all Massachusetts schools. The Joint Education Committee redrafted legislation combining seven different Senate bills, including legislation supported by the Massachusetts Attorney General. It would be a bell-to-bell phone-free school policy. It has not been voted on. The governor supports it. Currently, 70% of public schools across the country prohibit students from using cell phones during class, not necessarily bell-to-bell. According to the National Center for Educational Statistics, and 25 states have enacted bans or regulations on cell phone use in school at all. So then it talks about Brockton High School, it talks about some other things. There's some quotes from Maura Healy in here. So just kind of with the idea that we can move forward with whatever we want to do, but at some point it might be out of our hands, if they vote on it. A lot of things go through and don't get voted on, so.
Aren't they out on recess for the summer?
That's
So we
the
won't see that soon.
national,
No, I think the state does too.
oh, yeah,
They take the month of August off,
probably.
so,
Anywho,
but we can keep watch on it.
all right.
Do another opening vote, or we voted both?
We voted both.
Perfect. Let's do
Just have to do a vote to close.
Okay.
Oh, I was just gonna, can we comment on the cell phone at all, or?
Do you
Are we
want,
open
you
to
can
that?
start with a comment.
Okay, well, I
was gonna
know,
share some of those
well, I
also,
didn't know
it's
if we
fine.
were moving on or something else, but in the elementary school, it's, cell phone use isn't necessarily the biggest problem, but smartwatches.
Yeah.
And I know of 3 incidences where a student has called a parent during recess time because someone wouldn't play with them at recess. Another child called a parent during class and the parent was listening in during the lesson. Another student was having an emotional dysregulation period and called the parent during that, all on the watch.
Yeah.
We have a lot of students that have the watches in class, so that needs to be in the conversation also.
So this is called a cell phone survey, but the first question was what kind of devices does your child have? And then the rest of it, it literally just says devices. Like I purposely changed it from saying phones because I know that earbuds are a problem. I know that smartwatches are a problem. So yes,
Yeah.
that will be addressed.
I had a tracker go off today in the middle of my summer school class. I'm like, what is that noise? And it was a tracker from their backpack.
Yeah, we've had parents call the school saying, my kid's watch is off. Where are they?
Yeah, we've had that
and
too.
I'm
Yeah.
like, well, maybe the battery died. I
So,
don't know.
just to have that conversation, because I know the watches are an issue.
Yes,
That we've
agreed.
had, or I've had. Thank you.
All right, so we had 169 responses, which is not a lot for this. But basically, lots of kids have smartphones, smartwatches not so much, tablets, and then wireless earbuds / headphones was another big number. And then there were just basically doesn't need, rarely needs, sometimes needs, always needs. Obviously, what's at top of mind with a lot of families is emergencies, right? Like really incredible emergencies where you need to know that your kid is okay. And that, I think, is where we're going to get most of the pushback when it comes to them not having the phone or watch like on their person, right? So it's something that we need to talk about and address. Obviously, as you look through these, the main reason that parents want their student to have their device on them is for communication with them. Emergencies actually came in second. So parents want to be in contact with their kids, and their kids want to be in contact with them. And then concerns about devices as far as like distraction from learning, cheating, bullying, social media. Mostly people are concerned about distractions from learning, bullying, harassment, and the use of social media when they should be learning. Please rate the following statements on the impact of devices. The impact on instructional time, the very negative impact is the most. There is a big chunk in the middle of no impact where people feel like the devices don't have an impact on their students. How familiar are you with the school's current policy? The smallest one is very familiar. The largest one is somewhat familiar, and then not familiar. How satisfied are you with the policy? The biggest number is I am not familiar with the policy. The next biggest number is very dissatisfied, and the next biggest number is neither satisfied nor dissatisfied. So only 9 people said they were very satisfied with the enforcement of the policy. If you had one to choose from in these options that you feel like would fit the best, these are cut off, but I remember what they said. No access to the device allowed at all. That got 48 votes. No devices allowed during class, but they can have them during lunch and in the hallway. That was the biggest number at 91. Students should have access to their devices. That's 15. And then no restriction was 15. So it seems like the biggest chunk here is what Principal Slattery is suggesting, that they are off of your body and away from you during class, and then you can have them as much as you want in passing periods and in the lunchroom, etc. Those are the results. And then lots of people made comments. Lots of comments in here about how devices are destroying children and earbuds and, yeah.
These will all be accessible for everybody to see on their website, right?
Yes.
We'll put it on.
So they can read them all.
Yeah, because we just got this stuff today.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Will this be a policy through all the schools, like this is like district policy for all the schools, where it's going to be?
I guess that could be a conversation that we have, because obviously smartwatches are more of an issue at SMK and less of an issue, but obviously some kids have smartwatches. So but the thing is, like, if they have the smartwatch paired to the phone and the phone is there and their smartwatch is here, they're just gonna scroll through the things. So it's in the high school as well with the smartwatches.
Yeah, do we allow them to get around not having
Right,
a cell
so-
phone, but
so-
having a smartwatch as well?
My sister-in-law actually she teaches in East Providence, and she has the shoe thing. And if they have a smartwatch, it goes in the pocket with the phone.
How does that work?
It works for her. She said that she did have to make one concession, is that she found that if they waited till the bell rang, it was like everybody's clamoring all over each other to get to their phone. So she just had to make an adjustment 2 minutes before literally 2 minutes before the bell rings. It's like, all right, everyone, go ahead. Like, put your lipstick on with your mirror, do with your camera, like do whatever you got to do, and then I'll see you next time. So she did have to give up 2 minutes at the end of her classes.
And the middle school's been operating with it's off and away when they walk in. That's why if we were both like, wait, is this gonna be, it hasn't been questioned. This year, 2 students kind of missed the, it's, if I find you with it out, I hold it in the office until, at the end of the day, you pick it up, the next time the parent picks it up. I've not had any pushback, I may now, because I'm still to sell out.
Right.
You know, it really happened. We started that, I believe, in my second year, because we had a group of girls making TikTok videos in the bathroom.
Yeah.
That has stopped. Now we have outside stuff happening, but.
Yeah, so do we,
you know,
yeah.
Honestly, kids know. We talk about it in class, we talk about it in the assembly at the beginning of the year, we reinforce it all year. So I would hate to all of a sudden hear that it's a district policy, and now because during hall time, high school students can have it out or in the cafeteria, now I'm gonna have students doing the same.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And a lot of the comments in here are about, like, they should be socializing during lunch. They should be talking to friends in the hallways. Like, I don't want my kid watching YouTube videos at lunch by himself. I want him sitting and talking to other people. So I completely agree with you.
And I'll say, I also, in our night events, so when we have a dance or an open gym, we've made it a cell phone free. It was like you cut a limb off. You cut a limb off the first time you did it.
Yeah.
But you know what we learned? Kids actually interact, have social time. They're not worried about taking a picture that's going to be posted. Kids have fun being kids.
Yeah.
And now it's not even questioned. They're like, oh, I forgot my phone. I said, no worries. Leave it at home. No worries. I have a table. I'll put your name on it. You can get it at the end of the night.
Yeah, and to be fair, if you hung a shoe thing in the front of your room, it might be half full.
Right.
Because in middle school, not as many kids have phones. Where if
Right.
he hangs a shoe thing in the
Absolutely.
classroom, every pocket's gonna be full.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with you that we should have some discretion as far as
So we
what's
have
at
3
SMK.
separate policies for each school. I mean,
Yeah, like a tiered
tailored-
policy.
Yeah, tiered to tailor to each school.
How long did it take?
The school does that with the no cell phones at their events at night for the students, because there are so many kids that don't have cell phones, they want them, their families are saying no.
Right.
And so when they go to those events and no one has them, they're all in an even playing field, and it takes that pressure off of them because they don't have one,
Yeah.
They don't feel less. So I do love that at the middle school that they do that.
Do you mean like dances and stuff? Or
Yeah,
like
when they
school
have like
events?
open gyms, it says like,
Open
this is a
gym.
no cell phone event.
We have no cell phones.
Yeah, it's great.
Did you do that, did you implement that policy overnight type of thing, or did you, like, when did you start seeing the
We
students appreciate
piloted,
it?
so it was in full effect this year, but we piloted it at the end with a spring dance. We had noticed behaviors were increasing. We had a lot of parents calling, saying, hey, so-and-so put a picture up on social media of my child. They're on a no photo list. I'm really unhappy about that. And so we decided.
I like the pilot term.
Yeah.
I think that's
so
something we
we
should
piloted
think about.
it for the last 2 events of that school year. I think it was the 23-24 school year. It was great. Parents actually complimented us at the end. So we just put it into play for all night events as we started the 24-25 school year.
I think that's brilliant.
Yep, that's awesome.
So it sounds like we should have 3 different approaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and,
One more thing, Mel. So with this and the dress code policy, I think the really important thing is that you should have your parents in front of you to sign something, because I think that with the dress code and with the cell phone, you've got some parents that are engaged and will try to follow it and others that maybe will not. And so then you have a discrepancy, just like what you said with the teachers that enforce it and don't. The consistency, I think. But if you have something, I mean, we've signed all those other big, huge packet of stuff at the beginning of each school year anyway for the, the photo release and all the other stuff. But I think it's really important that there's a parent signature and a student signature so that everybody's very aware. This is a policy, this will be enforced, because we've talked about enforcement a lot. So I think it's very important to have those signatures so you can pull those out. And if a parent calls to complain, because they're going to, then you can say, look, you signed this, that this is the policy for either one of them.
yeah. Do you need something separate for the 7th and 8th graders? Just put it all together? I'm gonna work on that.
Okay, we're good.
Well, that was easier.
Well, a lot of people are all on the same page because we all grew up without cell phones. So
Yeah, so we have a,
it's a, if you had a group
We're
of
not as
students in here,
sympathetic.
you'd have a different,
we're not as sympathetic as you really need that, or you
But I
need that
think
out now.
the students, I think, for the most part, were used to an often away in their bags until COVID hit. And then when they came back, I just think it's been raging.
yeah. Well, a lot of screen addiction developed in that
Absolutely.
time period. It's a
Absolutely.
different ballgame. Teaching post-COVID versus teaching pre-COVID, you can't exactly put your finger on it, but it's different.
Surveys are really enlightening, very good, so appreciate that. Good
No
job.
problem.
Thank you.
We're good?
Anybody else?
Then I make a motion to close the public hearing on dress code and cell phones. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Hi.
Last thing, comments and concerns of citizens. Okay. No comments and concerns tonight. No communication, no other business. And there's a glare on the clock.
9:16.
9:17,
16.
16. Then I make a motion to adjourn at 9:16. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Hi.
Aye for myself. Have a good evening, everybody.